Chapter 101 Battle begins. I have something to do today, so the first chapter of the morning is updated ahead of time. Although they only decided to take a break, Dong Shenyao and the others did not forget to set traps. After all, there might be enemies hiding nearby. After arranging the traps, a few people sat around and started to eat the dry food they brought with them. Although the taste of the dry food was not very good, it was no problem to satisfy hunger. Just when a few people had eaten half of it, they suddenly heard a crashing sound from the woods. It was obvious that someone had touched the silk thread, causing the bell to shake, followed by another explosion. Boom! No, enemy attack! Dong Shenyao and the others suddenly became alert. Because apparently someone touched their trap. Whoosh whoosh. A few people didn't care to continue eating. They all put down the food in their hands and flew up one by one and hid in the surrounding woods. Since the forest here is very lush, the effective distance of sight is no more than 5 meters, so although the place where the explosion was located was less than 50 meters away from the resting place of Dong Shenyao and the others, they still did not know who touched them. Trap. 597 Don't move where you are, I'll go check it out. After explaining, Dong Shenyao rushed directly to the place where the explosion sounded. Originally, Kudo Shun wanted to replace Ta Shenyao, but Ta Shenyao was too fast. Before he could speak, Ta Shenyao had disappeared into the woods. After advancing 30 or 40 meters, the location of the previous explosion appeared in Dong Shenyao's line of sight. I saw that the trees around the explosion had been destroyed, but the expected enemy did not appear. Has it gone already? With doubts, Dong Shenyao started Sharingan directly. Although Sharingan is not as transparent as Byakugan, it can also enhance Ta Shenyao's eyesight, and Sharingan can also detect chakra. There. Relying on the powerful insight given by Sharingan, Dong Shenyao found a figure through a gap in the trees. Although only some exposed clothes can be seen through the gaps in the leaves, but this is enough. Whoosh! A kunai shot out suddenly and instantly disappeared into a bush. No, it was discovered. After seeing the sudden appearance of kunai, the hidden enemies around knew that they had been discovered, and immediately stopped hiding. People threw out kunai in response. However, Ta Shenyao had already shifted his position the moment he threw kunai, so the enemy's counterattack did not gain much. Go and see how the little wolf is doing. A man who appeared to be the leader ordered. Soon a ninja walked into the bushes to check, but in the end he stood up and shook his head and said, "Kunai is on the point, the little wolf is dead." Damn. Seeing someone die without even finding out where the enemy was, irritated these ninjas. Where are these ninjas from? Looking at the 7 black-clad ninjas below, Dong Shenyao fell into deep thought. Obviously these people will not belong to the country of Wells, because there is only one ninja village in the country of Wells, and that is the corner ninja village. It's a pity that I can't see their forehead guards. Dong Shenyao frowned slightly. These people were wearing masks, and their forehead guards were blocked by the masks, so they couldn't see them at all. Sir, what should we do? A black-clothed ninja walked up to the leading man and asked. Find it for me, the other party should still be hiding around. No matter who it is, I will avenge the little wolf. The leader of the man in black said viciously. Doden, Earth Style, Earth Thorn Combo. Just as the black-clothed leader's voice fell, suddenly a large number of soil thorns rose from the ground under their feet. Not good. After sensing the danger, the black-clothed leader jumped up quickly, followed by a quick hand seal with both hands. Futon, Wind Style, 1,000 Faces of Wind. Quote. Woo. The wind howled, and a large number of wind blades were blown out, and all the soil thorns within more than 10 meters of the black-clothed leader's feet were destroyed by the wind blades. And the other men in black also used their own means, but none of them died. However, just when the men in black had just landed, the surrounding land suddenly swayed, and then a root of soil Jinchuriki column rose from the ground, instantly surrounding the men in black. Boom! With a loud bang, countless earth Jinchuriki column gathered in the sky, a dungeon has been formed. Futon, Wind Style, Crushing. At the moment when the dungeon was formed, the black-clothed leader's ninjutsu was also ready, and a compressed air ball was sent out directly. Boom! The explosion sounded, and under the bombardment of the wind ball, one side of the dungeon was directly blown away. Whoosh whoosh. There was a sound of breaking the air, and the man in black in the dungeon quickly ran out. But at this moment, a figure flew out from the woods on the side. Ding! Hearing a crisp sound, Dong Shenyao had already played against a man in black in midair. Originally, Dong Shenyao wanted to kill someone by stealing an attack, but unfortunately these men in black responded very quickly and blocked Dong Shenyao's attack in time. However, because Dong Shenyao was very powerful, although the man in black blocked the attack, he was also beaten down by Dong Shenyao and his body fell directly to the ground. Immediately after, Dong Shenyao pursued his victory. Not good. At this time, the other men in black also discovered Dong Shenyao, and all of them immediately took action. Aware of the attack coming from behind, Dong Shenyao didn't care at all. Huh! A blood flower bloomed, and the shadow-chopping knife slashed across the neck of the man in black. The next moment, Dong Shenyao was also stabbed by several kuwu stabs. However, just after hearing a bang, Dong Shenyao had disappeared into smoke. It's not a shadow clone. At this time, the faces of these men in black changed. They didn't expect that they would only kill a shadow clone in the end, but they killed 2 people in a row. Damn, give me a swish, if I don't kill him, I will never be a human being, Feng Wan. The black-clothed leader was obviously in a hurry. At this time, Ta Xinyao had already had a round with Kudo Shun and others. How is Yao? Kudo Shun was the first to ask when Dong Xinyao came back. Fortunately, not many people came. There are only 8 people in total, but I have already killed 2 of them. Wow, Captain, you are amazing, you killed 2 people so quickly. Nishimura said in shock. It's nothing, I mainly rely on sneak attacks. If it's a head-to-head fight, I'm afraid I'll have to run away. Dong Shenyao didn't look proud at all. If he is really strong, he won't have to come back, but will directly annihilate the rest of the people. Captain, shall we fight or retreat next? Still Ishii was calmer and asked a very crucial question. Of course it's a battle. Kudo Jun replied first. Chapter 102 Melee. Of course it's a battle. Kudo Jun replied first. Of course, this answer is also in line with Kudo Shun's character. Nishimura and the others didn't get along with Rito Jun. Although they didn't get along for a long time, they had already seen that Kudo Jun was a person with developed limbs and a simple mind, so at this time they directly ignored Kudo Jun's words and looked at Dongshin Yao, waiting for his decision. We must fight in battle, at least we must find out their identities, but we have to make arrangements before the battle, instead of blindly rushing. Dong Shenyao said calmly. Boss, the traps ahead are getting denser and denser. It seems that we are about to find him. At this time, the men in black had approached the hiding place of Dong Shenyao and others. Everyone be careful, so many traps obviously cannot be set up by one person. Now we don't know how many people there are, so everyone is careful. The black-clothed leader reminded. Boss, I think since the other party has discovered us, it's better to use ninjutsu to destroy all these traps, so as not to be careful. A yellow-haired man in black suggested. Shut up. Now we don't even know the basic situation of the enemy, how can we waste chakra like this? The black-clothed leader reprimanded. Understood, boss. Seeing that the leader was a little angry, the yellow-haired black-clothed man hurriedly shut his mouth. Soon, the men in black advanced more than 20 meters again. At this time, they had come to the place where Dong Shenyao and the others rested. Stop. The black-clothed leader quickly stopped everyone. What's wrong with the boss? A black-haired man in black asked, puzzled. Look, the footsteps here are a bit messy. Obviously someone rested here before. If the other party didn't leave, then they should be hiding nearby now. Everyone be careful. Just as the black-clothed leader's voice fell, he heard a burst of air. Whoosh whoosh. I saw a large number of kunai suddenly flew out from 3 directions, and in an instant, hundreds of kunai shrouded the men in black from 3 directions. Doden, earth style, earth wall. I saw a man in black quickly hand seal, followed by pressing his hands on the ground, and suddenly a dirt wall rose from the surrounding ground, directly protecting the man in black. This layer of earth wall finally turned into an earth bag, protecting all the people in black within it. In the end, hundreds of kunai were all hit on the soil bag. However, the attack did not stop, and some of the kunai's handles were tied with detonating talismans, which had already been ignited at this time. Boom, boom, boom. The explosions sounded one after another, and soon the earthbags had been blown up, and the smoke was billowing, making it difficult to see what was inside. Dong Shenyao nervously looked at the situation in the smoke. This attack was exactly what he planned. At this time, Dong Shenyao, Exagon, and Ishijing were distributed in 3 different directions in the shape of pin. Exagon and Ishijing were on both sides of the man in black, while Dong Shenyao was directly in front of the man in black. Kaden, fire style, dragon fire bullet. Woo! Suddenly, a huge flame spewed out of the smoke, and instantly enveloped the surrounding area for dozens of meters. At this time, Dong Shenyao had also been affected by the flames, just because there were many trees in front of him, which reduced the power and speed of the flames, which gave Dong Shenyao time to dodge. At the same time as the flames disappeared, the smoke had dissipated, and the situation of the man in black was also revealed. There are a total of 6 men in black. At this time, the situation of these men in black is not very good. Almost all of them are painted, but their injuries are not serious. It turned out that at the last moment, the Doden earth style ninja used the earth wall again, so it blocked a lot of the power of the explosion. Just as the smoke dissipated, Dong Shenyao moved. Huh! These men in black saw a black shadow flashing in front of them, and a figure was already rushing towards them. The black-clothed leader's eyes narrowed, his feet exerted strength, and the whole person rushed towards Dong Shenyao. When the sound of the symphony of gold and iron sounded, and Dong Shenyao's shadow-cutting knife was blocked by the black-clothed leader with Kuwu. Then the 2 of them stepped back at the same time, and after landing, they moved again without the slightest pause. Dang dang dang. The symphony of gold and iron sounded one after another, like hammering iron. From time to time, sparks appeared in the air, and the 2 of them were very fast, and they could only see 2 black shadows constantly shuttling in the air. Just when Dong Shenyao and the black-clothed leader were fighting, Nishimura and Ishii also took action. Kaden, fire style, Phoenix Sage fire technique. Whoosh whoosh. More than 20 fireballs flew out of the woods and shot straight at the remaining men in black. Doden, earth style, earth flow wall. The Doden earth style ninja reacted quickly and responded quickly. At the same time that Nishimura shot, Ishii has also completed hand seal. Ishii is a Suiden water style ninja. Suiden water style ninjutsu is more easily affected by the terrain, especially when the strength is weak. If there is no water source around, the power of Suiden water style ninjutsu will be greatly reduced. So Ishii didn't use ninjutsu, and threw the shuriken directly to attack the man in black. Futon wind style Daitapa great breakthrough. Quote. Seeing the shuriken attacking, a man in black hurriedly used ninjutsu to resist. The wind howled, and all of the more than 10 shuriken were blown away. At this time, the 2 of Ishii had also walked out of the woods. Bang! I saw a figure flying out and fell directly to the ground. Seeing this scene, both Ishii and the others stopped and turned to look, only to see the leader of the man in black who fell to the ground. Boss! Seeing that the defeat turned out to be the boss, those men in black widened their eyes one by one, with a look of disbelief on their faces. Dong Shenyao took advantage of the victory to pursue, and quickly slashed at the black-clothed leader. No, boss is in danger. Whoosh! A man in black hurried over to try to rescue him. Your opponent is me. Kudo Jun, who had been hiding in the dark, jumped out and stopped the man in black directly. At the same time, Dong Shenyao had approached the black-clothed leader, and at this time the black-clothed leader was still lying on the ground and did not get up. PFF'd. The shadow-cutting knife pierced into the body of the black-clothed leader, and the black-clothed men showed despair when they saw this. But the next moment, their expressions changed. Bang! I saw the black-clothed leader turned into a wooden stake. It's a substitute technique. Dong Shenyao frowned slightly. He didn't expect that the black-clothed leader would be able to use the double technique at such a time. Quietly, the black-clothed leader had appeared behind Dong Shenyao, and kunai waved and stabbed at Dong Shenyao's back. "Captain, be careful," Nishimura exclaimed when he saw this scene. PFF'd. Kunai pierced Dong Shenyao's body without being hindered in the slightest. Chapter 103: The Identity of the Enemy. Just when the black-clothed leader thought that Dong Shenyao would surely die, he suddenly discovered that the Dong Shenyao in front of him had turned into a pool of mud. It's not good. It's an Earth clone. The black-clothed leader was shocked, but when he was about to step back and search for Dong Shenyao's true body, he found that Dong Shenyao's body had turned into a rock, and his only arm was trapped in the rock and could not be pulled out at all. Damn, what's going on? I saw that Dong Shenyao, who was used by the black-clothed leader as an Earth clone, continued to change. His body, which had been completely turned into a rock, recovered little by little. First of all, his face. It's just different from the beginning. Before, Dong Shenyao had his back to the black-clothed leader, but at this time his face turned to face the black-clothed leader. Ah! The black-clothed leader exclaimed. When had he ever seen such a strange scene? There was a sneer at the corner of Dong Shenyao's mouth. Taking advantage of the black-clothed leader's arm being trapped in his body, Dong Shenyao raised his recovered arm and slashed at the black-clothed leader. Don't! The black-clothed leader was shocked, but unfortunately he couldn't dodge much now, so he could only raise his left hand to resist. PFF'd. The left arm of the black-clothed leader was chopped off by Dong Shenyao, and then the shadow-chopping blade continued to slash at the black-clothed leader's head. PFF'd. Out, and the head of the black-clothed leader was beheaded by Dong Shenyao with a knife, and a blood Jinchuriki column spurted out of the wound. What's the matter? A series of changes appeared in front of them. Whether it was the man in black or Nishimura, they were all stunned. However, Dong Shenyao obviously had no plans to explain. After pulling the black-clothed leader's arm out of his body, Dong Shenyao had completely returned to normal, but there was a lot of blood on his body. Of course, this is not from Dong Shenyao, but from the leader in black. In fact, Dong Shenyao just used elementalization just now, turning his body into a puddle of mud, but it looked a bit similar to the soil clone, which confuses the black-clothed leader. Then Dong Shenyao took the opportunity to restore his body and killed the black-clothed leader with a special Jonin level in one fell swoop. Don't stand still, Nishimura, hurry up. Seeing that the three of Nishimura were looking at him, Dong Shenyao hurriedly shouted. Ah! After exclaiming, the three of Nishimura came back to their senses and hurriedly shot at the man in black. At this time, the rest of the black-clothed men were also awakened by Dong Shenyao's shouts. While shocked by the strange changes of Dong Shenyao, they also raised their intention to retreat. After all, even the most powerful black-clothed leaders were killed by Dong Shenyao. Yao was killed. Whoosh! Taking advantage of the man in black fighting Nishimura and the others, Dong Shenyao waved his hand and threw a kunai directly, shooting at a man in black who was fighting against Kudo Shun. Although the man in black was at the station with Shun Kudo, he was listening in all directions. He noticed the faint sound of breaking air behind him. Huh! Kunai rubbed the man in black's cheek and shot. Just when the man in black thought that the attack was over, he suddenly saw that Kunwu flew back from the other side of the man in black, and finally flew around the man in black a few times. Ah! The screams sounded, and I saw that there was a silk thread connected to the back of the Kunwu. At this time, the silk thread had been tied around the neck of the man in black. The man in black hurriedly stretched out his hand, trying to break the silk thread. And just when the man in black was controlled by the silk thread, Kudo Shun kicked him directly on the head. The huge force directly kicked his head, and a lot of Yuhi's white things sputtered out. The man in black didn't even know what thread it was until he died, and he kept making it. Do you know that this is a head grab? Dong Xinyao wanted to tell Kudo Shun so much. No matter what, this is a Chunin level ninja, and a head is worth 60 god creation points. Of course, Dong Xinyao just thought about it. The battle wasn't over yet. He didn't have much time to think about other things. As for the thread just now, it was condensed by Dong Xinyao using chakra. It belongs to the chakra thread. Even though it is condensed by chakra, it is very strong, and even kunai cannot cut it. This is one of the two skills that Dong Xinyao exchanged in the system before. This chakra thread is really easy to use. Dong Xinyao felt that there were no white flowers in the previous magic points. Just when Ta Xinyao and Kudo Shun worked together to kill a man in black, Ishii and Yukino also killed another. Yukino had been hiding in the woods before, and she sneaked over until the melee started, and finally used demonic illusion to confuse a man in black, which made Ishii take the opportunity to kill the man in black who was influenced by demonic illusion. There were only 3 men in black who were still alive at this time. Seeing that the situation was over, the 3 of them didn't stop and ran straight into the woods. Chase. After Dong Xinyao greeted him, he took the lead in chasing after him. Dong Xinyao was very fast, but he caught up with one in a few seconds. Bang, bang, bang. The two only fought for a few rounds. Dong Xinyao kicked him directly to the ground, and then moved his fingers. I saw that the chakra thread that had been wrapped around the man in black quickly tightened, and directly knocked the black man. Clothes tied up. After seeing the man in black being restrained, Dong Xinyao ignored him for the time being, and went after the other 2 men in black. With the combined efforts of Dong Xinyao and the others, the remaining 2 men in black did not run away and were all killed. Nishimura, Ishii, you two hurry up and clean up the battlefield, we're ready to leave. Yes. Just as the 2 of Nishimura went to clean the battlefield, Dong Xinyao began to interrogate the man in black who was caught by him. You kill me, I won't say anything. The man in black was stubborn. However, Dong Xinyao was noncommittal. At this time, Dong Xinyao had lost weight, but he did not find anything that could represent this person's identity. Helpless, he can only use Sharingan. Under Sharingan's hypnosis, Dong Xinyao quickly found out the information he wanted to know in 3.3. However, after getting the information he wanted, Dong Shenyao's face darkened. Things are a little tricky. What's wrong with Yao? Seeing that Dong Shenyao's face suddenly turned ugly, Kudo-jun couldn't help asking. These people are ninjas from Sunagakure village. They belong to Anbu from Sunagakure village. They did the destruction of the village before. It's just that the big army has left, and they are only left to search for the fish that slipped through the net in the village. Sunagakure village. How did their people come to the country of Wells? Yukino asked in surprise. At the same time, Ishii and others who had already cleaned the battlefield also gathered around. I don't know, this Anbu has limited information and doesn't know the inside story at all. This is also what Dong Shenyao worries about the most. Chapter 104 Survivor. Captain, why don't we report the information here to Lord Hokage? Ishii suggested. The report must be done, but we have one more thing to do before that. What's the matter? Ishii looked at Dong Shenyao curiously, waiting for his answer. Judging from the information obtained from this Anbu from the Sunagakure village, there should be survivors in the Hornan village. Now what we have to do is to find the survivors and see if we can get some useful information from them. But the country of Wells is so large, where are we going to find it? Shuinai asked. This is simple. Since Anbu from Sunagakure village was looking for this nearby, it means that the survivors of Kakuno Ninja village should be nearby, so if we search carefully, we should be able to find it. Ta Xinyao said confidently. Well then, we all listen to you, Captain. Go. Following Dong Shenyao's order, the few people who had already cleaned the battlefield began to act again. Of course, before leaving, Dong Shenyao also did not forget to kill the Sunagakure village Anbu who was hypnotized by him. In the blink of an eye, the sky had dimmed, but Dong Shenyao and the others still found nothing. At this time, several people have almost searched the forest near Jiaonin village, but they still haven't found the slightest gain. And just when Dong Shenyao was about to give up, Kudo Shun's voice suddenly came from not far away. Come over here, Yao, there is someone here. Whoosh whoosh. As soon as Kudo Jun finished speaking, Dong Shenyao and the others rushed over quickly. When they found Toshin Kudo, without him speaking, Toshinyao and the others also found a person. At this time, several people were beside a stream, and there was a person lying on the bank on one side of the stream. Although he couldn't see his face yet, judging from the wound on this person's back, it was obvious that he was seriously injured. Of Ninjutsu Katakana middle dot shadow clone technique. To be on the safe side, Dong Shenyao directly set out a shadow clone and walked over to check. Finally, it was confirmed by shadow clone that this person was indeed in a coma, and there were no traps around. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao and the others surrounded him. Captain, look, this is the forehead of Kakanoin village. Ishii suddenly pointed at the unconscious man's arm and shouted. Looking in the direction of Ishii's finger, Toshinyao found a forehead guard tied on the man's arm. Take him with Nishimura, let's go. Yes. After taking the order, Nishimura quickly carried the unconscious man on his back, and then the group ran towards the woods. Soon, several people found a cave, and at this time the sky had completely dimmed. Dong Shenyao decided to temporarily rest in this cave tonight. Shui Nai, I'll leave this person to you, wake him up as soon as possible. Nishimura, Big Brother Jun, you too, go get some firewood and water. Yes. After receiving Dong Shenyao's order, everyone hurriedly acted. Captain, what about me? Seeing that he had no assignment yet, Ishii hurriedly asked. Set up a trap with me. After speaking, Dong Shenyao walked out of the cave. After half an hour, they all returned to the cave. At this time, a bonfire has been lit in the cave, and Dong Shenyao and the two have also set traps around the cave. Shui now, how long will it take for him to wake up? Captain, based on this person's current condition, he will be able to wake up tomorrow morning. Shui Nai replied. Nodding his head, Dong Shenyao didn't speak, just took out the dry food and ate it. Crackling, from the bonfire from time to time. The atmosphere in the cave was a bit depressing, and today's experience put a lot of pressure on everyone. The night passed, and in the early morning of the next day, Shuinuo just woke up and saw that the survivor of the Hornbone village, who had been taking care of her, had disappeared, which surprised Shuinuo. Captain, people, before Shuinuo could finish her words, she immediately stopped because she found that the survivor was sitting next to Dong Shenyao. Shui Nai, don't worry, people are already awake. Dong Shenyao comforted. Shui now nodded awkwardly, but said nothing. Fuyuki is Yukino, and she saved you with medical ninjutsu. Dong Shenyao pointed at Yukino and said. Thank you. The survivor of Kono Ninja Village hurriedly stood up and bowed to Yukino. Ah, it's nothing, that's what I should do. Fuyuki's actions made Yukino stunned for a moment, and then she quickly waved her hand after she regained her senses. At this moment, the others also woke up. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao said, Okay Fuyuki, everyone is awake now. Tell me about the situation in Zhao Ren village. Ha, so your name is Fuyuki. Hello, my name is Kudo Jun. My name is Ishii. My name is Nishimura. Everyone made an introduction. In the second half of the night, Dong Shenyao himself was in charge of the vigil, and just at dawn, Fuyuki, the survivor of the corner ninja village, woke up. He was a little wary at first, but after Dong Shenyao revealed his identity, Fuyuki relaxed. After all, Konoha village was a vassal of Konoha village before, and the relationship between the two was still good. After calming down, Fuyuki also introduced himself, and Dong Shenyao knew his name. Just because no one else was awake, Dong Shenyao didn't rush to inquire about the situation in Zhao Nin village. 470 At this time, after hearing Dong Shenyao's words, Fuyuki did not hesitate, and directly told the situation of Zhao Nin village. Just a few days ago, our Konoha village suddenly found that a large number of unknown ninjas came to the country of Wells, because we were afraid that these ninjas would be unfavorable to the village, so we asked Konoha for help. But not long after we sent the letter for help, we the people of Konoha village suddenly found out that those ninjas who came to the country of Wells turned out to be people from Sunagakure village. Later, after our secret investigation, we found that they wanted to secretly attack Konoha's defense line near the hills. Just when we were about to report the information to Konoha village, we were accidentally attacked by Sunagakure. In less than an hour, the entire Konoha village was killed by Sunagakure. In the end, only me and Uncle Dongjao escaped, but we were also discovered by the people from Sunagakure village. Later, Uncle Dongjao stayed to fight Sunagakure to cover me. Now I think Uncle Dongjao must be dead. Speaking of this, Fuyuki couldn't help but shed tears. Fuyuki's condolences. Tashinyao comforted, and at the same time he thought of the pile of ashes that he had found outside Jiao Nin village. I want revenge. If it wasn't for the purpose of telling the Konoha ninjas, I would have gone to Sunagakure desperately. Now that I have told you the news, I have no regrets at all. You all leave. After speaking, Fuyuki stood up. About to leave. Chapter 105 split up. Wait a minute. Just when Fuyuki was about to leave, Dong Shenyao suddenly stopped him. Is there anything else? Fuyuki stopped and turned to look at Dong Shenyao and asked. Can you wait a little longer? Why wait? Fuyuki was a little puzzled. I understand your desire for revenge, but if you are alone, I am afraid that not only will you not be able to avenge your revenge, but you will even lose your life in vain, so you might as well come with us. Dong Shenyao suggested. This. Fuyuki was a little moved. But aren't you going back to Konoha village? Fuyuki asked suddenly. We must return, but not now. Dong Shenyao said solemnly. Well, if you are going to fight Sunagakure, I can join you. Fuyuki also made a decision. Captain, you're not really going to fight Sunagakure. Right now, the most important thing for us now is to send the information back to the village. Ishii said anxiously. I know this, so your next task, Ishii, is very important. Dong Shenyao said in a very serious tone. What is the mission of the captain? Ishii, next I will prepare and split into 2 groups. You will immediately go back to the village to send the information back, and I will go to the hills and mountains defense line. What? Kudo-jun and others were shocked when they heard the words. They didn't expect Dong Shenyao to have such a plan. Yao is too dangerous. Sunagakure is not a good person. The Sunagakure attacking the hills and mountains this time must be very strong. Even if you go with your current strength, it is useless. Kudo-jun said anxiously. I know, but I didn't go to fight in the past. I must send this news as soon as possible to prepare the hills and mountains defense line. Dong Shenyao said with a righteous and awe-inspiring look. Hearing Dong Shenyao say this, everyone fell silent. Indeed, Dong Shenyao's life alone is nothing compared to the entire hills and mountains defense line. Let alone going to the hills and mountains defense line is not necessarily will die, only in danger. Okay, I've made up my mind, that's it. Yao, I agree with you to go to the hills, but I am going to. Kudo-jun said suddenly. Yes, I'm going to. Nishimura agreed. I'm going to. Shuenuo also stood up. Captain, why don't you let me go too? Ishii said jokingly. Of course he knew this was impossible. After all, someone had to go back to send the information. Seeing everyone's firm gazes, Dong Shenyao was a little moved. Kudo-shun didn't say anything. The two were friends, and they fought together. It was a life-threatening friendship, so Dong Shenyao was not surprised that he wanted to accompany him. But what Dong Shenyao didn't expect was that even Nishimura and Yukino, who had not known each other for a long time, could do this. Although moved, Dong Shenyao was not prepared to let them go with him, and even if it was possible, Dong Shenyao didn't want to go. Okay, I know you're worried about me, but you really don't have to accompany me, because your task is heavier, and you must tell Lord Hokage about the actions of Sunagakure village. Now we don't know how many Sunagakure there are in the country of Wells. People from the village, so I don't know how much danger there is on the way back, so you must act together, so that I can rest assured. Dong Shenyao advised. After hearing the words, Kudo-shun and the others hesitated again. They wanted to follow Dong Xianyao, but they were really afraid that Ishi would be in danger, so that the news could not be passed back. Okay, it's settled. Now I accept Ishi as the captain, and you all rush back to Konoha village. If you are really worried about me, hurry back to Konoha and let Lord Hokage send someone to support the hills and mountains. The only way to defeat Sunagakure village is. I can be safe. Yao, you have to take care. This time even Kudo Shun didn't insist. Time is urgent, then I'll take Fuyuki and leave first. After speaking, Dong Xianyao got up and called Shang Fuyuki to leave the cave. Yao, be careful, Kudo Shun shouted at Dong Xianyao's back. East God Yao, in fact, you don't have to go, I can help you report to the hills and mountains. Fuyuki looked at Dong Xianyao with complicated eyes and said. No, this is about our Konoha village, so I have to go. Ta Xianyao said firmly. It's just that no one knew that Dong Xianyao was yelling in his heart at this moment. Damn, the stupid system, why did such a task suddenly be released? It turned out that just after Fuyuki revealed the conspiracy of Sunagakure village, the system's voice suddenly rang in Ta Xianyao's mind. Ding, now release a mandatory task. Level a please go to the hills and mountains as soon as possible to ensure the safety of the hills and mountains. Task reward. 4,000 God-making points. Penalty for mission failure. Randomly cancel one of the host's abilities. After just receiving this task, Dong Xianyao was stunned. This was the second time he received a mandatory task, but compared to the first one, this one was undoubtedly much more urgent. Even if Dong Xianyao knew that this action was very dangerous, for the mission, Dong Xianyao had to bite the bullet and go to the hills. After all, not to mention the quest reward that made Dong Xianyao greedy, the punishment alone made Dong Xianyao unbearable. Although it is random, who knows what will happen immediately, if the ability of the Uchiha bloodline and even the soil fruit is cancelled, it will be too late for Dong Xianyao to cry. No one knew the bitterness behind Dong Xianyao's righteous and awe-inspiring move. Hilly Mountain is located on the border of the Land of Fire. It is a very important line of defense in the Land of Fire. If the enemy rushes through the hills and mountains, then they can directly reach the capital of the Land of Fire. Therefore, Hilly Mountain has always been Konoha. The village is strictly guarded against the fortress, and even in addition to the Konoha village where a large number of ninjas are placed here, even the daimyo of the Land of Fire has placed tens of thousands of elite soldiers here. Although ordinary soldiers cannot be compared with ninjas, tens of thousands of troops are not a small threat to ninjas. Under such tight guards, no one would normally be able to break through the hills and mountains, but this time Sunagakure village was obviously prepared, so Dong Xianyao was also a little worried. The hills and mountains are just close to the country of wells, which is why the ninjas of Sunagakure village pass through the country of wells. With Dong Xianyao and the two on their way at full speed, within 3 hours, the two of them had come to the outside of the hills and mountains defense line. Hilly Mountain is a continuous mountain range with steep terrain, which is easy to defend and difficult to attack. If you want to pass through the hills, the easiest way is to pass through the hills and valleys, which is also the place where Konoha focuses on guarding. Just when Dong Xianyao and Fuyuki came out of the canyon, they were immediately stopped. Chapter 106 Xian Yi Leader. Whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, several kunai shot out, all of them hitting the feet of Dong Xianyao. Dong Xianyao knew that this was a warning to them, and if they kept going, the next time kunai would be stuck on them. Konoha Village Ninja Ta Xianyao, there is important news to report. Ta Xianyao hurriedly shouted loudly. He didn't let Dong Xianyao wait for a long time. Just a second after he finished shouting, I saw a black shadow rushing quickly from a distance, but in a short time, the shadow has come to the two of Dong Xianyao. When the shadow stopped, Dong Xianyao realized that this was a Konoha ninja wearing a green ninja vest. He should be 27 or 80-year-old, and it was the peak period of a ninja. And judging from the color of the vest, this person is clearly a Jonin. I didn't expect to be Chunin at such a young age, not bad. Jonin admired Dong Xianyao after looking at Dong Xianyao for a moment. Hello, my name is Dong Xianyao, I'm Konoha Chunin, this is my ID. Said, Dong Shenyao took out a piece of paper from his pocket and handed it over. Jianan took it over and checked the authenticity of 370 and said, "It's really people from Konoha village, what are you doing here?" "Sir, we have obtained an important piece of information about the hills and mountains, please take us to see the Supreme Commander here," Dong Shenyao said with a solemn expression. "That's it, then come with me." After saying that, Jianan turned and walked into the canyon. "Fuyuki, let's go." After saying hello, Dong Shenyao hurriedly followed. Along the way, the Jianan did not speak, but just led the way, and soon the three of them had crossed the canyon and came to a city. There was no movement from Jianan, only a wooden basket was dropped from the top of the city. "Come up quickly," Jianan beckoned to Dong Shenyao and the two after stepping into the wooden basket. Seeing that Dong Shenyao and Fuyuki didn't hesitate, they walked in one after another. Just after the three of them entered the wooden basket and stood up, the wooden basket began to slowly rise, and finally reached the top of the city. Seeing Dong Shenyao's curious appearance, Jianan explained, "This city is called Hilly City, and it is the last line of defense to guard the hills and mountains. For the sake of safety, no gates were built, so the only way to get in and out is this way." Quote, "It's not bad. Although it's troublesome, it's also safe." Dong Shenyao nodded. "Actually it's not very troublesome, because there are no ordinary people in this city, either ninjas or the army, and everyone usually doesn't leave the city," Jianan explained. "Then how will you support once the canyon is attacked?" Facing Dong Shenyao's question, Jianan's eyes became particularly solemn. "The guards in the canyon are very tight. If it really falls, it will be useless even if everyone in the city comes to support, so the only thing we have to do is to defend the city and prevent the enemy from coming out of the canyon, and then wait for reinforcements to arrive." At this time, Dong Shenyao understood Jianan's mood a little bit, watching his companions desperately trying, but they couldn't do anything. This kind of feeling would not be good. "Ha ha ha, don't worry, no one has been able to break through the canyon since the hills and mountains were built, so you don't have to worry." Jianan laughed suddenly. "I don't know if you'll be able to laugh after knowing the news I brought," Dong Shenyao thought to himself. With Konoha Jianan leading the way, Dong Shenyao and the others did not encounter any obstacles along the way. They quickly entered the city, and finally followed Jianan to the outside of a mansion. This is the mansion of Lord Xian, the commander of the Hills and Mountains Defense Line. When you see Lord Xian, you must be respectful and don't be rude, Jianan reminded. "Well, I see," Dong Shenyao nodded seriously. Under the leadership of Jianan, the two finally came to a guest room, and then Jianan left Dong Shenyao and the two waiting here. "It's really troublesome." Dong Shenyao felt helpless. Obviously it is very important information, but it is so troublesome to meet the commander. More than 10 minutes later, the door was pushed open and two men walked in. The leader, Dong Shenyao, did not know each other, but they did know the person behind him. It was Jianan who brought them here before. "Master Xian, it is these two people who want to see you," saying that they have brought important information. Jianan pointed at Dong Shenyao and said, "I have seen Mr. Xian." At this time, Dong Shenyao and the two already knew that the strange man in front of him was the supreme commander of the hills, Sheni Jianan. "Well, you are from Jiaonin village, why did you two get together?" Xian Yi asked after looking at Dong Shenyao for a while. "Master Xian, my name is Dong Shenyao and I am Chunin from Konoha village. I received an order from Master Hokage to go to Konoha village to collect information, but when I brought people to Konoha village, I found that Konoha village had been destroyed. Now, this Fuyuki is the only survivor of Kakunobu village, and I got a very important piece of information from him, that the people of Sunagakur village are going to attack the hills and mountains." Ta Xinyao explained the matter succinctly. "What?" Shani's face changed greatly when he heard the words. He did not expect that Dong Shenyao would bring this kind of news. "Are you sure?" Xian Yi asked, staring at Dong Shenyao. Being looked at by Sheni like this, Dong Shenyao felt boundless pressure. So strong. Dong Shenyao's heart trembled. He had a hunch that this was probably the strongest ninja he had ever encountered, except Senju Tobarama, even Uehara Kai was far inferior. Could it be Quenying, or cage level? In fact, I don't blame Dong Shenyao for guessing that. Being able to become the commander of such an important place as the hills and mountains must be very powerful, at least the general elite Jonin is not qualified. After taking a deep breath and barely calming down, Dong Shenyao and Xian looked at each other and said, Master Xian, now that the Zhao Nin village has been destroyed, isn't this enough proof? It is indeed enough. Withdrew his gaze, Xian Yi looked into the distance with a deep gaze. I've heard of you. Suddenly Shen Yi turned to look at Dong Shenyao again. You should be the champion of Chunin's selection test before. It's good that you didn't embarrass us Konoha. You should be tired too. I will ask Shin Zhongyang to take you down to rest first. As for Sunagakur village, I will solve it. Said after finishing, Xian Yi turned around and left. Hello, my name is Shin Zhongyang. You can just call me Big Brother Zhongyang. Come with me now, and I will arrange accommodation for you. With that, Jonin, who had brought Dong Shenyao and the others, stepped out of the guest room. Go. Chapter 107 Traitor. After leaving the guest room, John and Shin Zhongyang arranged accommodation for Dong Shenyao and the two directly in Shani's mansion. Dong Shenyao knew that Shin Zhongyang arranged this to monitor them. Although he had the identity certificate of Konoha village, it was impossible for Shen to fully believe it. Brother Zhongyang, I don't know where the toilet is. I want to make it easier. After arranging the room, Dong Shenyao said a little embarrassedly. Come with me. After speaking, Shin Zhongyang left with Dong Shenyao. After a few minutes, Dong Shenyao returned to the room that Shin Zhongyang arranged for them alone. Fuyuki, Kenichi and the others don't trust us, so in order not to cause misunderstandings, let's not walk around. Dong Shenyao reminded. Well, I know, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, Fuyuki assured. In this way, Tashinyao and Fuyuki didn't go anywhere all day, they stayed in the room to rest, and even lunch was brought into the room. Soon night fell, and after dinner, the two rested early. As time passed, the entire hills and mountains fell into silence, and even the moon in the sky was blocked by dark clouds, making the sky extraordinarily dark. At midnight, a dark shadow suddenly appeared in Shani's mansion. As the commander's residence, even if it is late at night, there are still patrolling people in the mansion, but most of them are ordinary soldiers. This black shadow is very powerful, and it is very easy to avoid all the patrolling guards, and even the ninja hiding in the dark has not noticed the slightest abnormality. The shadow left Shani's mansion unimpeded, and finally came to the city wall after passing through several streets. This city is to stop ninjas, so the city wall is very high, more than 10 feet, and there are some soldiers and ninjas guarding the city wall at this time to prevent enemies from breaking in. When the shadow came under the city wall, he gathered chakra on his hands and feet, and then crawled towards the top of the city wall little by little. Since this man was wearing black clothes, which blended perfectly with the night, no one found him at all. But within a few minutes, the shadow had successfully left the city. From beginning to end, the guards on the city wall did not find the shadow. The city is only about 100 meters away from the hills and canyons. At the speed of the shadow, the distance has been completed in less than 3 seconds, and it has entered the canyon directly. An hour later, a light suddenly appeared in the originally dark canyon. Then, before the ninja guarding the canyon could react, only a deafening explosion sounded. Boom! The sound of the explosion was instantly heard for several miles, and a large firelight rose from the canyon. The mountains on both sides of the canyon were affected by the explosion, and many rocks cracked and rolled down. No enemy attack. The ninjas and soldiers guarding the canyon acted immediately and rushed to the place where the explosion occurred to see what happened. At this moment, as if a signal was received in the woods 1,000 meters away from the canyon, hundreds of figures ran out of the woods and headed straight for the hills and canyons. A distance of thousands of meters is not too far for a ninja, and in less than a minute, thousands of figures have come to the outside of the canyon. At this time, most of the ninjas guarding the canyon had been attracted by the explosion, so they did not find that the enemy had come outside the canyon. Rush. With an order, thousands of ninjas rushed directly into the hilly canyon, and it was not until this time that the guards in the canyon discovered the enemy. It's not good that the enemy ran in, fight back quickly. After discovering the enemy, these Konoha ninjas hurriedly organized to stop the enemy's attack. However, since the enemy had entered the canyon at this time, the Konoha ninja lost the terrain advantage, and the number of people was small, so it didn't take long for the enemy to break through the defense line. Whoosh whoosh. A large piece of kunai and shuriken danced in the air. The two sides came and went, and from time to time, the detonating talisman exploded. As for ninjutsu, neither side used it easily. After all, both sides were already fighting together. It was still dark in the sky, and a bad ninjutsu might accidentally hurt one's own people. Soon more than 30 Konoha ninjas who stopped them were dead and wounded. As for those troops, they had already run away. As for the remaining ninjas, they all retreated one by one, seeing that the situation was over. Without any obstacles, these enemies suddenly penetrated into the canyon unimpeded. Sir, suddenly a shadow came to the front of the ninja army. Blizzard, you have done a good job. After returning this time, I will thank Casecage for you. One of the ninja army walked out and looked at the shadow who was kneeling in front of him. Thank you, sir. It's nothing, you deserve it. By the way, did you find any useful information? My lord's subordinates heard that there is a city behind the hills and valleys. If we can't break the city before the Konoha reinforcements arrive, our operation will probably fail. It turned out to be like this. Then, let's act quickly. Ha ha ha. Just as these Sunagakure leaders were about to move on, a sudden burst of laughter came from above the canyon. Who? Commander Sunagakure quickly looked up at the sky. It was a pity that it was late at night, and this Sunagakure commander had no pupil technique, so he could only see darkness. Boom. All of a sudden, the ground shook like an earthquake, and then a large amount of stones rolled down from the mountains on both sides of the canyon. These stones are so large that if hit, even Jonin will be killed. Doden, Earth-style, rock-splitting technique. I saw hundreds of ninjas gathered on the high mountain on the side of the canyon at this time, and hundreds of people stood in the front. These people were all ninjas who were good at Doden, Earth-style. The ground shook for a while, and then the mountain cracked, and a large number of rocks rolled down. Ambush in a bad way. The face of the leader of Sunagakure changed greatly. How could this be? The man named Lizard was stunned. He didn't expect such a change to happen. Facing the rocks falling from the sky, the Sunagakure below as the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each showing their magical powers, each with different abilities to resist the rocks falling from above. Some taijutsu masters directly smashed the rocks that hit them, while ninjutsu masters used various ninjutsu to resist the rocks, and those puppet masters also controlled their own puppets to resist the attack of the rocks for them. At first these Sunagakure were able to hold back, but as time passed, the rocks became more and more, and those who were weaker couldn't stand it. Ah! Screams sounded, and a Sunagakure was directly pressed down by a huge rock. Chapter 108 Excited Tashinyao. Countless stones of different sizes fell from the sky. Because the canyon is too narrow and the number of Sunagakure is large, facing the stones falling from the sky, there is no way to dodge, but only hard contact. At first these ninjas could hold back, but after a few seconds, those weak ninjas couldn't stand it anymore. Ah! With a scream, Sunagakure finally suffered casualties. I saw a Sunagakure who only had the strength of Chunin was smashed to death by a boulder, and the whole person became a puddle of meat-chan. This is only the first, but definitely not the last. Sure enough, it didn't take long for the screams to come and go, and in less than half a minute, Sunagakure's casualties increased by dozens. Of course, the ones who died were relatively weak, most of them were Chunin's strength, and only one elite Chunin's strength was. Seeing the increasing number of casualties, Commander Sunagakure knew that he could not continue, otherwise the thousands of people he brought with him might not be able to leave alive in the end. After all, even Jonin's stamina and chakra are limited, and if they consume too much, then only death awaits them. Everyone rush with me. After saying hello, Sunagakure led the charge and ran towards the depths of the canyon, wanting to get out of here as soon as possible. The rocks fell from the sky and went straight to the leader of Iwagakure. Facing the large rocks falling from the sky, the leader of Sunagakure had a calm expression, just raised his hands and quickly hand seal in front of him. Futon, wind style, vacuum wave. Woo! I saw that the leader of Sunagakure slapped his cheeks, and then spit out a large gust of wind, and a large number of wind blades were mixed in the gust of wind. Bang! 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 All the rocks close to the leader of Sunagakure were all shattered by the wind blade, turning into countless sand and gravel scattered by the wind. When the wind blade disappeared, the rocks that fell within 100 meters in front of the Sunagakure leader had been cleared away. As expected of the leader, so strong. Sunagakure behind him was amazed at this. Surprised by the strength of the leader, happy that with such a powerful leader, they can naturally survive. What a powerful futon, wind style, ninjutsu. Above the canyon, all the ninjas were shocked when they saw what happened below with the help of the weak light. It's really strong, and it can clear up the rocks within 100 meters in an instant. This kind of strength definitely surpasses the elite Jonin. Dong Shenyao was shocked. He didn't expect to see two such powerful ninjas one after another in one day. Such a powerful futon, wind style, made Dong Shenyao clearly see the strength gap between himself and the top masters. Looks like I'm going to work harder. Rush. After seeing the end of the ninjutsu, Commander Sunagakure shouted loudly, and immediately ran towards the depths of the canyon. Everyone listens to the order, give me more strength, don't let them run. Although it was dark and could not see the movement below, the shout of the Sunagakure commander came up, knowing that they were going to run, the Konoha ninja above, how can it be allowed? A group of Doden, earth-style, ninjas worked harder to divide the mountain to create more rocks, and Dong Shenyao was no exception, because he found that the ninjas killed at this time can also gain god-building points. He just took time to watch it. After a while, I found that the god creation point was increased by 60. Obviously, the rock he got down killed a Chunin. After this discovery, Dong Shenyao worked harder. After that, I felt that the rocks made by the cracked mountain were of different sizes, and their lethality was not enough. Dong Shenyao directly used the ability of soil and soil fruit. Rock fall. Boom. I saw Dong Shenyao condensed a huge rock with a diameter of 4 or 5 meters out of thin air, and then the rock fell vertically towards the bottom of the canyon. After that, Dong Shenyao did not continue to use ninjutsu, but just stared at his god-building points. Boom. Hearing a loud bang from below, Dong Shenyao knew that this should be the huge rock he made fell to the ground. Sure enough, the next moment Dong Shenyao found that his god creation point had increased by more than 200. Fuck, this is really a good place to score points. Dong Shenyao couldn't help but swear. Usually he wants to kill a ninja, even Chunin has to spend some hands and feet, but now, there are a lot of live targets below. Ha ha ha, come on. Dong Shenyao was excited in his heart, and then he stopped taking care of the gods and started to make rocks. Rock fall. Rock fall. Pieces of huge rocks condensed and smashed towards the canyon below. Dong Shenyao is happy here, but Sunagakure below suffers. The rocks made by Dong Shenyao are all large pieces with a diameter of 4 or 5 meters, and even a normal jonin cannot break them with a single blow. And it is dark now, which has a great impact on the line of sight, especially in the canyon, which is darker, so sometimes you can only see rocks falling from above, but it is not clear how big it is. This made some ninjas not aware that the rocks that fell on them could not be broken by themselves, so it was a tragedy, and many ninjas were crushed to death by the rocks. The rocks condensed by the falling rock technique are mainly made by Dong Shenyao through the ability of the soil fruit. Originally, the use of the fruit ability would consume physical strength, but because Dong Shenyao mixed a small amount of chakra into it, doing so not only saves money and it can also reduce the consumption of physical strength, so even if the power of rock fall is comparable to B-level ninjutsu, but Dong Shenyao used it more than 10 times in a row, but he was only slightly tired, and it was far from the limit. But even so, Dong Shenyao stopped, because he knew that although he could cause a lot of damage to Sunagakure by ambush, it would be impossible to completely kill all these Sunagakures. Once Sunagakure rushed out of the canyon come out, then waiting for them is bound to be a fierce battle, so Dong Shenyao must save his physical strength. 4.1 Dong Shenyao, you have done a great job this time, and I will definitely report to Lord Hokage to reward you well. Just as Dong Shenyao was resting for a while, the leader of Chulingshan, Sheni, came over. Master Xian has won the prize. I just did what a Konoha ninja should do. Dong Shenyao's words can be described as high-sounding, but it makes Sheni love Dong Shenyao more and more. Very good, to be able to say such a thing, it seems that you are indeed a qualified Konoha ninja. However, we Konoha pay attention to merit and reward, and your credit this time cannot be denied. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid the Hills line would have a hard time holding back so many Sunagakure attacks. Quote. Hearing Sheni say this, Dong Shenyao didn't refuse any more. After all, it would seem a bit hypocritical to say that. Thank you, Mr. Xian. Chapter 109 Face to Face. When Sunagakure was outside the canyon before, Sheni used the sparse starlight to find out that there were more than 1,000 people in Sunagakure, which made Shani's face change slightly. At the same time, he was a little fortunate. The mountain defense line is absolutely unstoppable. Even if the Sunagakure attacked, their numerical superiority was enough to break the line of defense. It is precisely because of knowing this that Sheni is so grateful to Dong Shenyao, because Dong Shenyao not only brought news of Sunagakure's attack, but also discovered Sunagakure's conspiracy, giving them a chance to ambush Sunagakure. The hills and canyons are more than 300 meters long. These distances are nothing to ninjas, but now, for those Sunagakure, this short 300 meters is as long as thousands of miles, and almost every meter as long. The land was stained with the blood of Sunagakure Yuhi. Finally, the leader of Sunagakure came to the end of the canyon under the thorns. But when he saw the exit clearly, he was stunned. I saw that the original exit was gone, replaced by countless stones. Damn Konoha ninja. Commander Sunagakure couldn't help but scolded. He would know that this was definitely done by the Konoha ninja, and directly blocked the exit. Seeing that there were still rocks falling from the sky, the leader of Sunagakure knew that he could not delay any longer, otherwise more people would die. Everyone attack the stone ahead with me and make a way for me. Chief Sunagakure shouted. At this time, a lot of Sunagakure had gathered around the leader of Sunagakure. Those who could keep up with the leader of Sunagakure were strong, at least they were especially Jonin, and even most of them were ninjas with the strength of Jonin. At this time, the major ninja villages have only been established for more than 10 years, and the first ninja war has only begun. It can be said that the strength of the major ninja villages is at its peak. High-end combat power, each village has at least nearly 1,000 people. This time, Sunagakure village spent a lot of money in order to break through the hills and mountains, and sent hundreds of Jonin-level ninjas. Don't think that this is very few. After all, although there are a lot of Jonin, most of them are useful. First of all, some of the Jonin are the guards of the village, and they will not leave the village easily until the last moment. Another part exists as Anbu, and a part of Jonin is needed to do tasks and guard some lines of defense. The most important thing is that Sunagakure village is still at war with Konoha, so there is not much Jonin that Sunagakure village can take out at this time. These 100 people were barely managed by Sunagakure village by biting on the Kiba Pass. Soon under the organization of the leader of Sunagakure, dozens of powerful ninjas were ready to start attacking the rocks in front of them. The remaining part of the ninja is to resist the rocks falling from the sky, so that these rocks do not affect others. Futon, wind style, vacuum bomb. The leader of Sunagakure opened his mouth, and saw an air bomb spew out. As the air bomb continued to advance, its size also continued to expand. Finally, when it approached the rock in front of it, the diameter had reached nearly 2 meters. This is a highly compressed air bomb, and once it explodes, it is extremely powerful. At the same time, other people also showed their magical powers, and all kinds of powerful ninjutsu were used. Puppet technique whirlwind. I saw a human-shaped puppet spinning with a samurai sword under the control of Sunagaku, heading straight for the distant rocks and bombarding away. Futon, wind style, vacuum datama. Doton, earth style, earth dragon bullet. A large number of attacks gathered together, which was spectacular. Boom. Finally, a group of Sunagaku's attacks hit the rock, the explosion sounded, a mushroom cloud rose into the sky, and countless pieces of gravel flew out in all directions. Many ninjas were accidentally hit by the high-speed flying stones. Although they did not die, they were also injured. No, they are coming out. Everyone obeys the order. The last blow, destroy this canyon for me. Hearing the loud noise from the exit of the canyon, Xianyi's face changed greatly, and then he quickly issued an order. Immediately afterwards, Xianyi took the lead. Kaden, fire style, super flame bullet. Woo! A large flame spewed out, and the flame instantly covered a distance of hundreds of meters and directly bombarded the cliff on the other side of the canyon. Boom! Under the attack of Kaden, fire style, I saw that the opposite cliff was directly smashed, and countless large stones fell towards the bottom. At the same time, the other ninjas also launched their final attack. All kinds of ninjutsu came out, all attacked on the opposite cliff. Dong Shenyao was not to be outdone, but unlike the others, Dong Shenyao directly controlled the rock on the opposite side. Crack me! Under the control of Dong Shenyao, cracks appeared in the opposite mountain. Although Dong Shenyao's own words alone could not completely crack the mountain, don't forget that he still has many helpers. At this time, there were cracks in the mountain, followed by countless ninjutsu bombardments, and suddenly, the mountain could no longer hold on. Boom! A thunderous explosion sounded, and the 100-meter-high mountain on the opposite side collapsed directly, and the canyon below was immediately buried. Withdraw. Shenny didn't care about the outcome of the battle, he greeted and ran towards the exit of the canyon. When Shenny and others came to the exit of the canyon, the rocks here were just blasted away, and then the leader of Sunagaku walked out of it first. These Sunagaku just came out of the canyon and met the Konoha ninja head-on, but the two sides were not in a hurry. I wonder who Sunagaku is leading the team this time? Shenny asked as he walked out of the crowd. It's me. Seeing Shenny calling out to himself, the leader of Sunagaku also came out. It's you, Yamada Monkey. Kenichi clearly knew the Sunagaku leader. Shenny, we meet again. Yeah, it's been 3 years since the last time we parted. Shenny said with a look of recollection. At this time, the two were like friends reminiscing about the old times. If they were not in the know, they would not be able to believe that the two were enemies. Kenichi, how did you find us? At this time, Yamada Nakaki was very puzzled, wondering how their plan was noticed by Konoha. Ha ha ha, Yamada Monkey has to say that your plan this time is very good. You actually sent people to infiltrate the hills and mountains defense line, and then create chaos to create opportunities for you. But unfortunately, all of this has been discovered by our Konoha ninjas. By the way, I don't know where that person named Fuyuki is. I would like to thank him. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't be able to successfully ambush you this time. Xianyi said very proudly. Sorry for being a little late today. Chapter 110 Battle begins. Because of me. A ninja dressed in black standing behind Yamada Monkey was stunned. He didn't understand where the loophole appeared in him, and it would be discovered by the Konoha ninja. Now that he had mentioned himself, the ninja simply walked out. I've seen Mr. Xian. The black-clothed ninja walked half a step behind Yamada Monkey and stopped, and then saluted Shenny very politely. Sure enough, it's you. With the help of the faint moonlight, Kenichi had already seen clearly the appearance of the black-clothed ninja. It was Fuyuki, the survivor of the corner ninja village who had come to the hills and mountains with Dong Shenyao before. I don't know how Lord Xian discovered my identity. Fuyuki asked curiously. He thought he had done enough, but he didn't expect his identity to be discovered by the Konoha ninja. At this time, Fuyuki blamed herself. Because of her own reasons, Sunagaku was ambushed and indirectly killed so many people. Fuyuki, you were wrong. It's not that I found out that you have a problem, but Dong Shenyao. Dong Shenyao. Fuyuki was stunned. He didn't expect that the final problem would appear on Dong Shenyao. He had to know that the thing he was most proud of was deceiving Dong Shenyao and the others, but he didn't expect that it was him. The most confident places go wrong. Fuyuki, I didn't expect to meet again under such circumstances. At this time, Dong Shenyao had also walked out of the crowd. Yeah, although I haven't been with you for a long time, I still appreciate your concern for me before. Fuyuki said with a smile. I just don't know if you can answer the doubts in my heart. Where is the flaw in me? Looking at the doubt in Fuyuki's eyes, Dong Shenyao smiled slightly and said, you have no flaws. On the contrary, your performance is perfect, but it is precisely because of this that I have doubts. Oh, what does that mean? Fuyuki asked in confusion. It's very simple. The first time I suspected your identity was when you said you wanted to seek revenge from Sunagakur village. By now, Dong Shenyao was not going to hide it any longer. What's the problem with that? It should be quite in line with what happened to me at the time, right? Wrong. Dong Shenyao directly denied Fuyuki. If only your relatives died in the hands of Sunagakur, then you would have no problem doing that. But at that time, the Kakanoin village had perished, and you were the only survivor. What you really need to do at this time should not be revenge, rather, it should be a legacy. The most important thing for the village is the continuation and inheritance. As the only survivor of the Corner Ninja Village, not only did you not intend to pass on the Corner Ninja Village, but you plan to let it be cut off. I have had doubts about you since then. So that's how it is. Hearing Dong Shenyao's explanation, Fuyuki was suddenly surprised. He hadn't noticed anything before, but now after being pointed out by Dong Shenyao, Fuyuki also discovered the problem. Thinking from another perspective, if Sunagakur village perished and he was the only survivor, then Fuyuki would definitely not take revenge first, but hide it, and then keep the heritage of Sunagakur village, so that Sunagakur village would not disappear. I was careless. Fuyuki said in a depressed mood. Actually, this is human nature, and I'm just a bystander. If it were me, I'd probably be the same as you. And I was just suspicious at the time, and I wasn't sure that you really had a problem. After a pause, Dong Shenyao continued, when I came to the hills and mountains, my suspicion of you became even more serious. It has been 2 or 3 days since the Kakanoin village was destroyed, and at the speed of Sunagakur for such a long time. It's enough for them to reach the hills and mountains. What's more, they have already discovered that there are survivors in the Corner Ninja village. In order to avoid leaking information, they should take down the hills and mountains as soon as possible. But in fact, they didn't, so if it wasn't for Fuyuki, you provided the information as wrong. That is, there is another conspiracy in Sunagakur village. But no matter the reason, combined with the previous speculation about your identity, it makes me more suspicious of you. Then when did you discover my true identity? Fuyuki asked. When you left Lord Xian's mansion. Dong Shenyao smiled. What? Fuyuki looked surprised. Everything before Fuyuki is just my guess, and I can't be sure if there is really a problem with you. However, the hills and mountains are too important, so even if it is just a suspicion, I still told the matter to Mr. Xian. Impossible, you and I have been together all the time, why didn't I find out that you and Sheni said this? Speaking of this, Fuyuki suddenly stopped, because at this time he thought of something. It was that time, when you went to the toilet. Fuyuki thought that the only time the two separated was when Dong Shenyao went to the toilet. That's right, I didn't actually go to the toilet, but asked Brother Zhang Yang to take my shadow clone to Mr. Xian. After listening to my doubts about you, Mr. Xian began to monitor you. So, Master Xian already found out when you secretly left the mansion at night, just to figure out your purpose, so Master Xian didn't catch you directly. Later, Mr. Xian guessed your conspiracy after discovering that you had set up a detonator in the canyon, so he took us to ambush on the cliffs on both sides of the canyon. You should already know what happened next. After listening to Dong Shenyao tell things a little bit, Fuyuki's face became extremely pale. he did not expect that everything he did would be seen by Xian. Master Zongshu, everything is my fault. I'm sorry everyone, I can only apologize with death. After speaking, Fuyuki pulled out Kuwu and stabbed himself in his heart. Bang! Just when Kunai was about to pierce Fuyuki's body, a palm suddenly stretched out and grabbed directly on Kunai's blade, making Kunai unable to advance an inch any longer. The kunai's sharp blade cut through the palm of his hand, and blood flowed out. Master Zongshu. Fuyuki, this is the end. Even if you commit suicide, it's useless, so instead of dying in vain, it's better to kill more Konoha ninjas to avenge the dead companions. Yamada Monkey persuaded. I see. Taking a deep breath, Fuyuki nodded vigorously. Seeing Fuyuki giving up on committing suicide, Yamada Monkey then let go of kunai, and then looked at Shang Shandao. We are also old friends, so don't say anything more, let's fight. Battle. Xian Yi snorted loudly, then exerted force on his feet, and his body jumped out instantly. At the same time, Yamada Monkey also moved. I saw the two of them turned into two shadows and rushed towards each other. The battle begins. Chapter 111 Melee. When Kenichi and Yamada Monkey met in midair, and the two kunai collided, sparks flying. After a blow, the two retreated at the same time. After landing, the two of them did not stagnate in the slightest, and rushed towards each other again. This is not the first time the two have fought, so there is no so-called temptation at all. Sheni and the two turned into two black shadows. Most of the ninjas present could not see the movements of the two clearly, and could only hear the sound of gold and iron symphony. Soon half a minute passed, and the two had no idea how many times they had fought. After another fight, the two stopped. Sheni didn't expect you to make a lot of progress. Yamada Monkey said in admiration. Each other, Xian Yi replied. The cold wind was cold, and the clothes of Xian Yi and the two were swayed by the strong wind. The two stared at each other, as if they were looking at their lovers seriously, but both of them had murderous intent in their eyes. Whoosh! Sheni moved again, turned into a shadow and went straight to Yamada Monkey to kill. Futon, wind style, vacuum sphere. Yamada Monkey quickly hand-sealed, and then he spit out a 267 shredder. At a time, more than a dozen wind bombs were shot at Sheni like bullets. Sheni is very fast, although the wind bomb is faster, but it is a straight-line attack, which gives Sheni time to avoid. I saw that Sheni dodged left and right and quickly avoided all the wind bombs, and at this time Sheni had already approached Yamada Monkey. PFF'd. Suddenly, when Kenichi was 5 meters away from Yamada Zongshu, one of his feet suddenly fell into the ground just as he landed. No, this is Swamp of the Underworld. Shani's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect that Yamada Zongshu had set up Swamp of the Underworld here at some point. Since it was night, Sheni didn't realize that there was a trap here. At this time, Xian Yi sank 1 foot into the mud, and even because of inertia, most of his legs were already in it soon. Of course, Yamada Monkey would not miss such a good opportunity. Futon, wind style, vacuum datama. PFF'd. I saw a huge wind bomb being spit out by Yamada Monkey and shot straight towards Kenichi. PFF'd. In an instant, the wind bullet has penetrated Kenichi. Master Xian. Seeing this scene, all the Konoha ninjas exclaimed. Kill, take revenge for Lord Xian. I don't know who shouted, and then saw more than a dozen Konoha ninjas rushing towards Yamada Monkey. Seeing this, the others couldn't continue to watch, and all of a sudden hundreds of Konoha ninjas took action. The Sunagaku couldn't watch their leader be besieged by the Konoha ninjas, and hundreds of ninjas who came out alive from the canyon immediately ran to meet the Konoha ninjas. Just as the ninjas on both sides were about to fight, they saw that Kenichi, who had just been pierced by the wind bullet, turned into a piece of wood. I knew you wouldn't die so easily. Seeing this scene, Yamada Monkey was not surprised at all. The two knew each other's strength very well, and Yamada Monkey knew that the real battle had just begun. Kenichi's figure appeared silently behind Yamada Monkey, and then he waved his hand and stabbed at the back of his heart. PFF'd. Kobo successfully pierced Yamada Monkey's body, but Kenichi was not happy at all. Sure enough, Yamada Monkey turned into dirt the next moment. It was the Earth clone, and at the same time, the ground cracked under Xianyi's feet, and an arm stretched out from it. Doden, Earth-style, decapitation in the heart. Kenichi reacted very quickly, and he used the telekinesis technique to leave the moment his arm was stretched out, making Yamada Zonki's attack unsuccessful. Seeing that Yamada Zongshu could only get out of the ground, the next moment, the two fought again. Although Kenichi didn't die, the Konoha ninja didn't stop, and soon the ninjas from both sides fought together. Konoha ninjas in the hills, but this time Sheni did not bring everyone out, and left more than 100 people to guard the hills. The Sunagakur village originally had 16,700 ninjas, but hundreds of Sunagakur were buried in a hilly canyon. At this time, the number of Sunagakur who survived was less than 1,000. However, only the strong survived, so although many Sunagakur had injuries on their bodies, and the consumption was not small, they were still not to be underestimated. And the more than 600 ninjas on the Konoha side are not intact. There are nearly 100 ninjas who are good at Doden, Earth style, because they ambushed Sunagakur on the top of the mountain before, so they consumed a lot of chakra. So don't look at the fact that Konoha village successfully ambushed Sunagakur just now, but if the fight really starts, Konoha's winning rate is still less than 30%. When the battle started, I saw a large number of kunai and shuriken flying in the air, heading straight for the fight. The fight between the two sides was very lively. The Sunagakur village quickly gained the upper hand with the advantage of the number of people. A large number of shuriken and kunai were played, and Konoha ninjas were often killed because the defense was not timely. Doden, Earth style, Shenglongba. Boom. Dong Shenyao directly condensed an earth dragon that rose into the sky and went straight to Sunagakur. However, before the earth dragon fell, it was smashed by several ninjutsu. Damn, there are too many people, it's useless at all. Dong Shenyao's face was ugly. His current strength has not reached the level of 1 to 100 or even 1000 to face nearly 1,000 ninjas. His tolerance technique is difficult to work. It seems that we can only sneak attack. Thinking of this, Dong Shenyao's body slowly penetrated into the earth. After a brief long-range confrontation, the ninjas on both sides had melee together. Dong Shenyao hid in the ground and kept observing. It's you. Soon Ta Shenyao found out that there was a Sunagakur fighting against the Konoha ninja. This Sunagakur was very powerful and forced the Konoha ninja to keep retreating. But what makes Ta Shenyao happy is that there are no other ninjas within 4 or 5 meters of the two. Huh. In an instant, the figure of Dong Shenyao emerged from the ground, and he was just behind Sunagakur. Then I saw Dong Shenyao directly hit Sunagakur's back heart with the already condensed Rasengan in his hand. Ah! Screams sounded, and Sunagakur shot directly inside Rasengan. Thank you. Seeing that he was saved, Konoha ninja hurriedly thanked Dong Shenyao. It's okay, we are comrades in arms. After speaking, Dong Shenyao disappeared into the land again. After that, Dong Shenyao made many more shots, but not every time he succeeded in sneak attack. Sometimes the target of the sneak attack is very vigilant and avoids it directly, and sometimes it is blocked by other nearby Sunagakur. But even so, Ta Shenyao cooperated with other Konoha ninjas to kill nearly 10 Sunagakur. Chapter-101-120 Winter Tree. After more than 20 sneak attacks, Dong Shenyao stopped because he found that the results of such sneak attacks were not very good. After all, it was a melee at this time, and there were enemy ninjas everywhere, so sneak attacks were easy to spot. The most important thing is that Dong Shenyao's current strength is still a little low, and the speed is not fast enough, so it is easy to give the enemy time to react. So Dong Shenyao couldn't turn the tide of the battle with a sneak attack alone. According to the current situation, Konoha would be defeated sooner or later. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao simply emerged from the ground and rushed into the crowd. PFF'd. A flash of sword light, a ninja from Sunagakur village has been cut in half by Ta Shenyao. The shadow-slaying blade is extremely sharp, and Dong Shenyao's own strength is also a strong one among the special Jonin, so it is not difficult to kill a person with Chunin's strength in seconds. In the blink of an eye, there were already more than a dozen ninjas who died in the hands of Dong Shenyao. Most of them died under the sword, and only a few were killed by Dong Shenyao with ninjutsu. In such a large-scale battle, everyone is deliberately saving chakra, so they cannot use ninjutsu without using it. Soon Dong Shenyao's slaughter attracted some Sunogakur's attention, and a Sunogakur with special Jonin strength soon found Dong Shenyao. When the symphony of gold and iron sounded, and Dong Shenyao blocked Kunai's attack with his Shadow Slayer sword. Dong Shenyao is not someone who can't fight back. After blocking the opponent's attack, Dong Shenyao kicked out. Bang! The Sunogakur also responded quickly, kicking the same kick. The two kicked their feet together, and then stepped back at the same time. But at this moment, Dong Shenyao found that the strong wind was blowing behind him, and he didn't have time to think about it, and Dong Shenyao squatted down quickly. Huh! A samurai sword swept across Dong Shenyao's head, and a cold sweat broke out on Dong Shenyao's forehead for a while. If he just took a slow step, he would have been cut off by someone. Of course, he would not be injured if he had elementalization. Just when Dong Shenyao was about to turn around and fight back, a ninja rushed out from the side and hit Sunogakur behind Dong Shenyao with a slap. Thank you. Dong Shenyao said gratefully. You're welcome, we are all Konoha ninjas. The ninja who helped Tashinya smiled, and at this time Tashinya found that the ninja who helped him had a pair of pure white eyes. This is Byakugan, he is from the Hyuga family. Tashinya was taken aback. After coming to the Hokage world for so many years, although it is not the first time to meet the people of the Hyuga family, this is the first time he has had such close contact with the people of the Hyuga family. As the top ninja family in Konoha, the Hyuga family naturally has its own set of methods for cultivating ninjas, and the ninja school has not been established for a long time, so there is no Hyuga family in the ninja school. And it has been less than a year since Tashinya became a ninja, so he has never encountered the Hyuga family when he was on a mission before. At this time, it was time for the battle, and Dong Shenyao didn't have time to chat with the Hyuga clan, so after saying hello, the two of them fought separately. S opponent is still the Sunogakur who first attacked him. Dang dang dang. In the blink of an eye, the two had already fought more than 10 moves. At this time, Dong Shenyao had already discovered that physique alone could not win. Sharingan on. In order to make a quick battle, Dong Shenyao directly used Sharingan. Whoosh. Dong Shenyao moved again. PFF'd. Shadow chopping blade slid across Sunogakur's shoulder, and blood flowed down instantly. The Sunogakur was stunned. He didn't understand that they were two evenly matched people before, but now he was injured with just one move. His speed has gotten faster. In fact, it's not that Dong Shenyao has become faster, but Sunogakur's movements have slowed down in Dong Shenyao with Sharingan's blessing, which is why this happens. Whoosh whoosh. Sunogakur knew that he couldn't continue fighting with Tashinya, so he hurriedly threw a few kunai to attack Tashinya, and then quickly hand-sealed with both hands. Doden, Earth-style, Earth Dragon Bullet. Boom. An Earth Dragon emerged from the ground, followed by a mouth, and Earth bombs spewed out. It was just when this Sunogakur attacked Dong Shenyao with great joy, he suddenly felt a pain in his heart, and then he found that the shadow-slaying blade had stabbed into his heart at some point. Phantom, demonic illusion. Looking at Dong Shenyao who suddenly appeared in front of his eyes, Sunogakur suddenly reacted, but unfortunately it was too late. Relying on Sharingan's demonic illusion to quickly kill a special Jonin-level Sunogakur, Dong Shenyao did not stop and continued to search for Sunogakur to fight. At this time, Dong Shenyao confirmed a sentence very well. Facing Sharingan, he turned and fled one by one. This sentence is a good illustration of the power of Sharingan. Although this is a bit exaggerated, ordinary ninjas can't beat ninjas with Sharingan one-on-one at the same level. There are already 5 special Jonins who died in his hands in a short period of time, and as for Chunin and Elite Chunin, there are as many as a dozen. Just when Dong Shenyao had just killed an elite chunin from Sunagakure village and was about to find his next opponent, a murderous aura was used behind him. Dong Shenyao hurriedly used the instant body technique to dodge, and then saw a few kunai plugged directly into the place where he was standing. Turning his head to look in the direction where kunai came from, Dong Shenyao saw an acquaintance. Fuyuki, is you? East Shenyao, we meet again. Although Fuyuki said what he said was like meeting a friend, but at this time he had a grim smile on his face. He hates Dong Shenyao, because if it weren't for Dong Shenyao, his plan would not have failed, and those Sunagakure would not have died. East Shenyao, you actually sabotaged my plan. I must smash your corpse into tens of thousands of pieces and take your life. With a shout, Fuyuki instantly turned into a black shadow and killed Dong Shenyao. So fast. Dong Shenyao found that even when the 3 Tomo Sharingan were turned on, Fuyuki's speed was still very fast, which was obviously not something that Jonin could have. When Fuyuki's kunai stood on the shadow chopping blade, and the huge power made Dong Shenyao take a few steps back. At this time, Dong Shenyao's face changed slightly, because he had already determined that Fuyuki was definitely a Jonin-level ninja. This was the first time Dong Shenyao faced a Jonin-level ninja alone. At this time, Dong Shenyao said it was impossible not to be nervous. I didn't expect you to be Jonin. Hey, there are still more things you don't know, how much I regret not killing you at the beginning. Fuyuki, do you think you have the strength to kill us? Dong Shenyao said with some disdain. Jonin is strong, but not to the point where Dong Shenyao fears. Chapter 113 First Kill Jonin. East Shenyao, I admit that you are a genius. You already have the strength to kill a special Jonin at a young age, but I will let you know today that the gap in strength between Jonin and a special Jonin is irreparable. After today, Konoha is about to lose a genius. After Fuyuki stopped talking nonsense, he attacked Dong Shenyao again. Fuyuki turned into a black shadow and approached Dong Shenyao in an instant, with kunai in his hand and went straight to stab his heart. If there is no Sharingan, Dong Shenyao really has to deal with it carefully. But at this time, under Sharingan, all of Fuyuki's movements were watched by Ta Shenyao. Just when kunai was about to stab the Middle East Shenyao, the Shadow Zandao had already blocked kunai's way forward. When Kuwu stabbed the blade of the shadow chopping saber, sparks scattered for a while, and Dong Shenyao took 2 steps back. Dong Shenyao used his arms to force Fuyuki to retreat, and then slashed at Fuyuki's neck. When Fuyuki erected a kunai to block Ta Shenyao's attack, and then used his elbow to hit Ta Shenyao's chest. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao quickly backed away, avoiding Fuyuki's attack. For a time, the two of you came and I played together. At this time, the melee had broken out for nearly half an hour. There were a lot of dead ninjas on both sides, especially the Konoha side. Due to the small number of people, it was a disadvantage to fight. At this time, nearly 200 Konoha ninjas had died in the battle, and the remaining of people were also injured. The Sunagakure village suffered no small losses. Although the death toll was not as high as that of the Konoha ninja, there were more than 100 people. More than 300 corpses were lying on the ground, and the smell of blood permeated the battlefield. At this time, everyone had already killed Yuhi's eyes, and had even left death behind. However, if the fight was the most intense, it was the leaders of both sides, Kenichi and Yamada Monkey. At this time, the battlefield where the two had been far away entered the canyon ruins. Because the strength of the two is too strong, they may accidentally hurt other people if they are not careful. In order to avoid the aftermath of the battle from hurting their own people, they will find such an unmanned place to fight one-on-one. The two were extremely fast, and if Dong Shenyao couldn't drive Sharingan, he would only be able to see 2 dark shadows vaguely. Not to mention other things, this speed alone is enough to kill a normal Jonin in seconds. And all kinds of ninjutsu were used by 2 people in the wave of hand, even if it was only C-level ninjutsu. The power exerted in the hands of the two was not inferior to B-level or even A-level ninjutsu. For a while, the sound of explosions continuously came from the ruins of the canyon, and the thick smoke enveloped the battlefield, showing how fierce the battle between the two was. Ding! Tashinyao and Fuyuki fought each other again, and then retreated at the same time. Fuyuki's eyes were solemn at this time, and he knew that he had underestimated Dongshenyao. If it were another special Jonin, Fuyuki would still be seriously injured even if he hadn't killed the other for so long, but facing Dongshenyao, the two had been fighting for a few minutes, but he still didn't take any advantage. On the other hand, looking at Dongshenyao, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth at this time. He has already figured out Fuyuki's strength, and he has truly seen his current strength. Just using Sharingan's abilities, he has been able to fight Jonin undefeated. Doden Earth-style Tulong Gun. A rock Jinchuriki column rose from the foot of Dongshenyao. Originally, for Dongshenyao, who had the soil fruit, he could use elementalization to resist this move. But Dongshenyao didn't, because elementalization was his trump card, and he wouldn't use it unless necessary. Otherwise, once the enemy knows and is prepared, the effect of this move will be much reduced. Dongshenyao jumped high to avoid the sharp rock that came out the next time, and then an earth dragon gushed out on the ground, smashing all the sharp rocks around it at once, and then the earth dragon rose from the sky and caught the just falling. Dongshenyao came. Doden Earth-style Shenglongba. Under the control of Dongshenyao, Tulong bombarded Fuyuki. Boom! The Tulong was extremely fast and bombarded Fuyuki directly, and the Tulong's huge body bombarded the ground, causing a burst of smoke. Doden Earth-style Rock Fist Art. Suddenly, Fuyuki, who was supposed to be bombarded by the Earth Dragon, jumped on the Earth Dragon, and then raised his fist wrapped in the rock and went straight to Dongshenyao. Boom! Fuyuki smashed Dongshenyao directly with this punch, and then saw that Dongshenyao was directly smashed into flesh-chan by this punch. He just didn't wait for Fuyuki to be happy. The next moment, he only felt a pain in the back of his shoulders. Before he could think about it, Fuyuki hurriedly used the teleportation technique to leave the place. Seeing Fuyuki leaving, Dongshenyao looked disappointed. When Fuyuki fell to the ground, he found that Dongshenyao was still standing on the Earth Dragon, and he held the shadow-chopping saber in his hand, and there were traces of blood on the tip of the blade. At this time, there were still wounds on Fuyuki's back, which were brought to him by Dongshenyao just now. What's going on? Fuyuki was very puzzled. He was just able to confirm that the one he hit was definitely not the clone but Dongshenyao himself, but Dongshenyao appeared behind him again. Is it demonic illusion? Fuyuki soon had an answer, but it also made him more cautious. I didn't expect your demonic illusion to be so powerful, Fuyuki exclaimed. Hey, there's still a lot you don't know, just die for me. Seeing that an attack he finally planned failed, Dongshenyao could only continue to attack. The Earth Dragon rose to the sky again and went straight to Fuyuki. Boom! This time Fuyuki avoided the bombardment of the Tulong, but he had just landed when the figure of Dongshenyao emerged from the ground behind him, and at the same time he swung the shadow-cutting knife straight to Fuyuki's neck and chopped it. Not good. At this time, Fuyuki had just landed and had not yet stood firm, so it was too late to escape. Fight! He bit Kiba, and swung kunai directly to stab behind him. Obviously, he wanted to surround Wei and save Zhao, hoping to force Dongshenyao back. It was just that Fuyuki was clearly miscalculated. PFF'd. Blood splattered, Fuyuki's head was directly chopped off by the shadow-chopping blade, and a large amount of blood spurted out of his neck at the same time. At the same moment, Fuyuki's kunai also pierced into Dongshenyao's body. It's just that part of Dongshenyao's identity has turned into mud at this time, so after Kuwu's stab, it did not bring any harm to Dongshenyao. After Dongshenyao pulled out the kunai from his body slowly returned to normal. Looking at Fuyuki's corpse, an excited smile appeared on Dongshenyao's face. Jonin was beheaded by him. This was the first time that Dongshenyao had killed Jonin, and he did not use anyone's power, but completely relied on do it by your own strength. Thank you 18,850,327,445 for the monthly ticket support. Chapter 114 Army Goes to War. After beheading Fuyuki, Tashinyao also felt a little tired. He felt that even after killing so many enemies just now, he was not tired of fighting Fuyuki. Sure enough, Jonin is not so easy to kill. With my current strength, I can only kill one Jonin at most. If there is another one, I'm afraid I can only run away. Dong Shenyao thought to himself. What Dong Shenyao wanted to do most now was to rest, but now that he was on the battlefield, there was no time for him to rest. Immediately after beheading Fuyuki, Tashinyao was targeted by several Jonins from Sunagakure village. After all, Yidong Shenyao can kill Jonin at his current age, which is definitely a super genius. This kind of character will be valued in any village and will be attacked by the enemy at the same time. Whoosh whoosh. Several Sunagakure village Jonin Naomoto Tashinyao rushed over. After realizing the crisis, Dong Shenyao didn't say a word, and his body sank directly into the ground. When the three Jonin from Sunagakure village arrived, at 15, Dong Shenyao had disappeared. Look, even if you dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find him. If this person doesn't die, he will definitely be my Sunagakure village's confidant. A Sunagakure village Jonin shouted sharply. Leave it to me. The other Sunagakure finished, quickly hand seal with both hands, and it was done in less than 2 seconds, and then his hands slammed down on the ground. Doden Earth-style ultra-cracked earth-turning hands. Boom. As Sunagakure slapped the ground shook, and then cracks appeared on the ground. The cracks continued to grow, and finally the ground within a radius of nearly 100 meters had all cracked. At this time, if someone hides in the ground, they will be seriously injured even if they don't die. But unfortunately, Dong Shenyao has long since left. And with the ability of his soil fruit, even if Dong Shenyao is still here at this time, he will not be hurt in the slightest. How is it? Asked Sunagakure on the side. I don't know. Sunagakure, who used ninjutsu, shook his head. Under such a level of attack, if the Konoha ninja just now is still in this range, it will definitely not feel good, but if he leaves, then I can't do anything about him. Forget it, let's just do it. If he really ran away, he is lucky. But I don't believe that he has been staying in the ground. If he comes out, he must kill him next time. Sunagakure was the first to speak. Said fiercely. Of course, he said that. It was night and the sky was dark, and it would be difficult to find Dong Shenyao again. Soon the three Sunagakure left one after another to continue looking for their targets. At this time, Dong Shenyao had already run several hundred meters, and he was relieved to see that no one was chasing after him. Hyuga clan ninja who had helped him before was fighting a Sunagakure. At this time, the Hyuga clan ninja had been injured, and one arm was stained with blood and Yuhi was hanging beside him. The Sunagakure who fought with him was still intact, and he was pressing hard at this time. Judging from the current situation, if there was no external intervention, it would not be long before the ninja of the Hyuga clan would die. Since he saw Dong Shenyao, of course he couldn't stand idly by. After all, not to mention that both of them belonged to Konoha village, just because the Hyuga family helped him before, Dong Shenyao couldn't ignore it. Dong Shenyao emerged from the ground in an instant, and then raised a few shuriken and threw them out. Although the Sunagakure was fighting, he was still alert to the movement around him. After realizing that someone was attacking behind him, he quickly abandoned the ninjas of the Hyuga clan and jumped aside. Soon the 5 shuriken flew past Sunagakure, but before Sunagakure could turn around to see who the enemy was, the next moment the 5 shuriken turned back. Such a sudden scene was obviously beyond Sunagakure's expectations, and there was no time to dodge. 3 of the shuriken stabbed into Sunagakure's arms, while the remaining 2 circled around Sunagakure. Did Sunagakure realize that there were chakra threads tied behind the shuriken? What's going on? Sunagakure was stunned. He had never seen such a strong chakra thread. Chakras into threads is what puppet masters are best at, and Sunagakure village is undoubtedly the best at puppets in the ninja world, but even so, there is no puppet master condensing chakra threads that are so strong and usable in Sunagakure village. To tie people up. It's just that this Sunagakure obviously didn't have time to think about these issues. Seeing that his body was being helped, the ninja of the Hyuga clan didn't care what happened, and went straight up and slapped Sunagakur in the heart. Chakra spewed out, directly shattering Sunagakur's heart. Although he was robbed of the head, Dong Shenyao was not angry. Seeing that Sunagakur was killed, Dong Shenyao first dispersed the chakra threads before walking over. Looking at the dead Sunagakur, Dong Shenyao realized that the two ninjutsu he had exchanged before were really useful. Before performing the mission of Kakuno Ninja Village, Dong Shenyao exchanged two ninjutsus, one of which was the chakra's thread, and the other was the primary puppet manipulation technique. Although it is only a primary level, it is not as good as those real puppet masters, but if it is used well in battle, it can be regarded as a killer. Just like the way the shuriken was redirected before, it was the puppet manipulation technique. It's you. At this time, the ninjas of the Hyuga clan also saw Tashinyao and recognized him. Thank you, the ninja of the Hyuga clan said gratefully. Number 660, you helped me just now, this time we are even. Dong Shenyao chuckled lightly. The ninjas of the Hyuga clan were taken aback for a moment. He did not expect Dong Shenyao to say such a thing. However, he quickly reacted, and then returned to Dong Shenyao with a smile. My name is Hyuga Ishin. My name is Dong Shenyao. At this moment, the two knew each other, and after having the experience of fighting side by side, the two became acquainted at once. After all, one of the 4 irons of men is to carry guns together. After the two looked at each other tacitly, they left each other, because the battle is not over yet. Obviously it is not the time to connect with each other. Soon, it was dawn, and after more than 2 hours of fighting, the Konoha side had already revealed their defeat. There were only about 200 Konoha ninjas still alive, and all of them were injured, and there were still more than 400 left on the side of Sunagakur village. If it continues, the Konoha side will definitely lose. At this moment, the 10,000 troops responsible for guarding the hills and mountains finally came to the battlefield. Although these troops are not ninjas, they can still cause a lot of damage to ninjas due to their superiority in numbers. The reason why the army has only taken action now is to wait for dawn. Because it is not good for the army to fight when it is dark, at this time the dawn has passed, and the sky is much brighter. Chapter 115 Kill 5 more. Kill. With the order of the Fire Nation General, nearly 10,000 soldiers rushed towards the battlefield. Not good. Seeing the arrival of reinforcements from Konoha village, the expressions of all Sunagakur changed slightly. One of the Sunagakers from Yuhi quickly called over 100 Sunagakers to run towards the army. All Doden, Earth-style, ninjas use Swamp of the Underworld. As Yuhi issued Sunagakur's order, more than 40 Sunagakur hand seals were issued at the same time. Doden, Earth-style, Wanli Swamp of the Underworld. Under the joint use of more than 40 ninjas, all the land within a radius of thousands of square meters was turned into a swamp. Many soldiers of the Land of Fire couldn't stop because they ran too fast, and rushed directly into the swamp, and soon the whole person was submerged in the swamp. Futon, Wind-style, ninjas obey orders, attack. Yuhi sent Sunagakur to give the order again, and the remaining 60 ninjas began to hand seal one after another. Futon, Wind-style, 1,000 faces of wind. Quote. Futon, Wind-style, vacuum sphere. Futon, Wind-style, Kama Itachi. All kinds of Futon, Wind-style, ninjutsu were displayed, and the wind was blowing for a while, and countless wind blades and wind bullets attacked the army of the Fire Nation. Stand up a shield. The general of the country of fire is obviously a person who has experienced 100 battles. Seeing this situation, he did not panic, and immediately began to line up his troops. I saw 1,000 soldiers with shields in their hands ran to the front and erected their shields to defend themselves. Bang, bang, bang. Soon, a large number of attacks hit the shield. At first, the shield was still able to block, but because of too many attacks, many of the shields were quickly destroyed, and the remaining attacks immediately attacked the soldiers of the country of fire. But after all, there was a shield to resist, so the attack weakened a lot. When Sunagakur's attack ended, the army of the country of fire only died less than 1,000 people. Archer ready, shoot. Since the ground in front was covered with swamps, it was impossible to pass in a short time, so the general of the Fire Nation could only use bows and arrows to attack. Immediately, thousands of arrows shot up into the sky, covering Sunagakur like raindrops. Doden Earth style, Yuhi sent Sunagakur to see this and immediately issued an order. Although Yuhi said Sunagakur did not elaborate on what kind of ninjutsu he used, those Doden Earth style ninjas understood it. Doden Earth style Dungeon Rebellion. I saw that the ground beneath Sunagakur's feet shook violently, and then countless amounts of dirt rose up, burying a group of Sunagakur in it very quickly. I saw a lump of earth appeared on the ground. This is the reverse application of the dungeon technique. Under normal circumstances, dungeon art is used to bind the enemy, so it is difficult to break it if it is attacked from the inside, but it is easier to attack from the outside. But this dungeon is just the opposite. Although it looks similar to the dungeon, the outside is very solid, and it is easier to break from the inside. Soon countless arrows have arrived, and finally shot on the soil bags. Damn! Seeing that the wave of arrows had ended, but Sunagakur was not injured in the slightest, which made the general of Fire Nation furious. It's just that he is also a little helpless. This is the reality. Now is not the era of samurai. Ninjas are at their peak. Even if there are 10,000 of them, any ninja with a strength of more than 300 to 500 chunin can kill them. Although the 10,000 strong army could not do any harm to the more than 100 Sunagakur for the time being, it also delayed part of Sunagakur's combat power, which gave the Konoha ninja a chance to breathe. Kill. Dong Shenyao swung the shadow-cutting knife and charged towards a Sunagakur again. Dong Shenyao has also suffered some injuries from the battle until now, but it is not serious, just a few more wounds on his body. This is still Dong Shenyao's intention. It is better to rely on his elementalized body. How could he be injured? The reason why Dong Shenyao was intentionally injured was just to prevent people from discovering the secret of his elementalization for the time being. After all, this is his trump card, and if he is discovered later, he can have one more whole card. Seeing Dong Shenyao coming, 5 Sunagakur immediately surrounded him. Originally, Dong Shenyao was going to run, but seeing that these Sunagakur were also injured, and seeing that there was no Jonin in their momentum, it made Dong Shenyao feel relieved. Battle. After a loud shout, Dong Shenyao swung the shadow-chopping sword into the crowd. When a Sunagakur's kunai was blocked by Ta Shenyao, and at the same time, the Sunagakur was directly knocked back with the force of his arm. It's just that before Dong Shenyao counterattacks, other people's attacks have already arrived. Facing the attack of the 5 Sunagakur, although the strongest was only the elite Chunin, Dong Shenyao had to deal with it carefully. Whoosh! Dong Shenyao raised his hand and threw a few kunai to force the 2 Sunagakur back. He glared at the other Sunagakur, who immediately hit demonic illusion directly, and his body couldn't help but sigh. Getting rid of the 3 Sunagakur temporarily, Dong Shenyao increased his speed to the limit and instantly came behind a Sunagakur. PFF'd. Shadow-slaying saber pierced directly into Sunagakur's body, and then Dong Shenyao left the place regardless of whether he was dead or not. Sure enough, the next moment another Sunagakur arrived. Doden Earth Style Earth Thorn Combo. Dong Shenyao didn't have time to cover with hand seal at this time, so he directly activated his skills, and soon a large number of soil thorns rose up on the ground. The demonic illusion's Sunagakur was stabbed in the legs before he could dodge, and he seized the opportunity to cut off his head with a knife. The 2 Sunagakur were dealt with. Dong Shenyao's pressure was greatly reduced, and then he used the earth clone to deceive the attack of the 3, but the real body appeared behind the 3 Sunagakur. Doden Earth Style Earth Flow River. 3 Sunagakurs turned into a mudslide, and they were washed away when they were unsteady. Doden Earth Style Earth Thorn Combo. Countless earth thorns rose up, and this time the 3 of them could no longer dodge, and one by one they turned into hedgehogs, and they couldn't die any longer. However, just as Dong Shenyao had just dealt with the 5 Sunagakurs, a cold light suddenly flashed. Although Dong Shenyao tried his best to dodge, his arm was still torn. What? Looking at Sunagakur, who suddenly appeared and attacked him, Dong Shenyao's expression was particularly solemn. Judging from the speed at which he was almost unable to react just now, Dong Shenyao judged that this Sunagakur was definitely a Jonin. It's a little tricky. Dong Shenyao didn't expect that he would be targeted by Jonin again. Don't look at him now that he can kill 5 Chunin with 1 enemy and 5, but facing Jonin, he has absolutely no chance of winning. Run. Dong Shenyao didn't hesitate in the slightest, and immediately used the instant body technique to run into the distance. You can't run away this time. That Sunagakur was obviously not going to let Dong Shenyao go easily. This person was one of the 3 Sunagakur who wanted to besiege Dong Shenyao before. This time, he finally ran into Dong Shenyao. Of course, he couldn't escape easily. Soon the two were approaching the hill city, and at this time Sunagakur was less than 5 meters away from Dong Shenyao. Whoosh! Suddenly a kunai shot out from the hill city. Chapter 116 Reinforcements arrive. Seeing that Dong Shenyao was about to be caught up, suddenly a kunai shot from the hilly city not far away. Dong Shenyao had no intention of dodging, and continued to rush towards the hilly city. Soon Kunwu approached Dong Shenyao, but this Kunwu didn't hurt him. Instead, it flew past him and went straight to Sunagakur, who was chasing him. When Sunagakur waved the kuwuji in his hand to block it, but in such an instant, the distance between the two opened up again. Damn, who the hell is that? Sunagakur looked up at the hill city, and when he saw it, he was frightened. I saw that the hilly city was full of people at this time. Although there were no details, there were at least a few hundred people. Whoosh! A figure jumped down from the hilly city and ran straight towards Dong Shenyao and the two of them. Soon Dong Shenyao met with the visitor. Teacher Qi. When Dong Shenyao saw the person coming, he was stunned. This was his instructor, Kai Uehara. Yao, you go back to Hill City to rest first. This person is handed over to me. After explaining, Kai Uehara stepped forward to stop Sunagakur, who was chasing Dong Shenyao. At this time, the Sunagakur also stopped and looked at Kai Uehara vigilantly. Everyone has momentum, just different strengths and weaknesses. Ordinary people's momentum is very weak, so it is difficult to be detected by people 350. The power of the strong is very powerful, and can even shock others. At this moment, Sunagakur sensed a powerful aura in Kai Uehara, an aura that was much stronger than him. It turned out to be an elite Jonin. Sunagakur trembled in his heart. He didn't think that he just wanted to kill a Konoha genius, but he actually met an elite Jonin, and he was an elite Jonin who was already at the peak. Ninjas of the same level are also divided into strong and weak, and Uehara Kai has undoubtedly stood at the top of the elite Jonin. He is only one step away from becoming a quasi-kage, and truly becoming a strong man in the ninja world. You dare to chase and kill my apprentice, kill! Uehara shouted and launched an attack directly. Although Kai Uehara is a ninjutsu-type ninja, as a peak-level elite Jonin, he is not weak in other aspects. At least in terms of physical art, it is still above Jonin. Bang! Just one punch, Kai Uehara directly repelled Sunagakur, followed by a series of stormy attacks. However, at this time, Dong Shenyao did not care about the battle behind him, and instead climbed directly to the hilly city. When he came to the wall, he found that there were hundreds of Konoha ninjas gathered here. Dong Shenyao knew that there were only more than 30 ninja guards left in the hilly city before. Obviously, these people should be later. Yao! Just as Dong Shenyao stood firm, he heard a familiar shout, and then he saw a short figure squeeze out of the crowd. Big Brother Jun. Tashinyao found out that it was Kudo-jun, which made Tashinyao think that these Konoha ninjas should be the reinforcements that Kudo-jun and the others moved in. Before Tashinyao and Kudo-shun could catch up, a middle-aged man came over. Hello Dong Shenyao, my name is Nara Jue. I am the leader of the Konoha Vanguard Army this time. How is the battlefield situation now? Nara Jue is actually a member of the Nara family. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised. The Nara family is also very famous in Konoha village. Although the Nara family itself can only be regarded as a medium family, it has to be said that the Nara family has very good genes. Every Nara family has a high IQ, so they are deeply loved by the Konoha village. Reuse. Especially the Nara clan are on good terms with the Akamichi clan and the Yamanaka clan. Although the three clans are only middle-class ninja clans, because the three clans advance and retreat together, they are no weaker than those high-level clans. Even the top clans such as Uchiha and Hyuga dare not ignore the three clans. Lord Nara, the situation on the battlefield is very bad right now. Sunagakure has the upper hand. Please help me quickly. Dong Shenyao explained the situation succinctly. I see, Dong Shenyao, you're tired too, take a rest in the city first, I'll bring someone to support now. After speaking, Nara Jawei turned around and started to organize the team. Lord Jawei, I can still fight. Dong Shenyao raised his head and said with a look of unyielding expression. Nara Jawei turned her head to look at Dong Shenyao and said, very good, it seems that you inherited the will of fire very well. In that case, Dong Shenyao returns to the team. Yes. With a shout, Dong Shenyao stood in the team. It's just that Dong Shenyao was a little disdainful in his heart at this time. Of course, he didn't want to participate in the war because of the will of fire, he just went to make a god. After all, now that the Konoha reinforcements have arrived, the winner of this battle must be Konoha. Since Dong Shenyao certainly won't let go of such an opportunity to beat the underdogs. After Dong Shenyao entered the team, Nara Jawei shouted, the first group will cut into the battlefield from the left, the second group will cut into the battlefield from the right, the third group will follow me to support the friendly troops from the front, and the fourth group will prepare to intercept the fleeing enemy. Yes. After giving the order, Nara Jawei took the lead and ran towards the city. Although the hilly city wall is tall, it is nothing to Jonin, and it will not hurt to jump directly. On the other hand, those Chunin could only go down the city wall. When Nara Jawei jumped off the city wall, the battle between Kai Uehara and Sunagakure was over, and the Sunagakure was beaten to the head by Kai Uehara. Soon Nara Jawei rushed to the battlefield with reinforcements. At this time, more than 200 Konoha reinforcements joined the battlefield in pockets, and dozens of Konoha ninjas strayed outside the battlefield. Once they found that Sunagakure was about to escape, they would go up to block them. With the addition of reinforcements, the morale of the original ninjas in the hilly city rose sharply, but Sunagakure's morale was low, and it was already showing signs of failure. The battle between Kenichi and Yamada Monkey is still going on, but compared to the beginning, both of them have weakened a lot in terms of speed and strength. After all, they are tired after fighting for so long. At this time, both of them were injured, but they were still evenly matched. The two have the same strength and know each other well, so it is really difficult to decide the winner. Originally, Yamada Monkey was a little happy when he saw that Sunagakure had the upper hand, and only thought about supporting him after his subordinates defeated the Konoha ninja. It's just that before Sunagakure wins, Konoha reinforcements arrive. Seeing Sunagakure being beaten and retreating, Yamada Monkey knows what he has to do. Damn, it's almost. Yamada Zongshu was annoyed in his heart. Chapter 117 Mission accomplished. Top. Konoha's reinforcements arrived at this critical moment, which made Yamada Monkey very angry. It's just that no matter how angry Yamada Monkey is, the result is already doomed. Even with his strength at the pinnacle of the ninja world, there is no way to turn the tide of the battle. Just like Kenichi before, seeing Sunagakure about to lose, Yamada Monkey was a little anxious. At this time, Xianyi laughed happily. Ha ha ha, Zongshu, this time your Sunagakure conspiracy failed. HMPH, Kenichi, don't be complacent, sooner or later our Sunagakure village will destroy you, Konoha. Yamada Monkey said viciously. Konoha is the largest ninja village in the ninja world. Even your Sunagakure village wants to destroy our Konoha. I think you should wash and sleep. Xianyi said disdainfully. Yamada Zongshu knew that Kenichi was saying that he was daydreaming, although he also knew that this was a bit unrealistic, but how could Yamada Zongshu be submissive if he lost? Sheni is lucky for you this time, just wait, I'll be back. Doden, Earth-style, swamp of the underworld. The ground around Yamada Monkey quickly turned into a swamp, forcing Kenichi to retreat. Sheni, we'll see you next time. Yamada Zongshu saw the general trend and was ready to evacuate. Where to go? Although he knew that he couldn't stop Yamada Monkey, who was determined to do it, Kenichi still made his last effort. Kaden, fire style, dragon fire bullet. Woo! The flames shrouded the sky and covered the ground to Yamada Zongshu, but at this time Yamada Zongshu's figure quickly disappeared into the swamp. Although Yamada Monkey does not have soil and soil fruits, he can also travel through the soil with Doden, Earth-style, ninjutsu, but the speed is not as fast as Tashinyao, and it can also be seen with Byakugan. Boom! The explosion sounded, the bulging waves spread around, and the swamp was instantly evaporated. Damn, let him run. When the flames dissipated, Kenichi was a little disappointed, because at this time Yamada Zongshu's figure had disappeared, so he obviously let him escape. Yamada Monkey did not flee directly after leaving, but came to the battlefield. All Sunagakure village ninjas obey orders, withdraw. Following Yamada Monkey's order, the surviving ninjas from Sunagakure village immediately began to flee for their lives. Konoha ninjas had been beaten by Sunagakure before, but now that the reinforcements came, they had to turn defeat into victory. Stop them, don't let them run away. Kill, avenge the dead brothers. Shouting, a group of Konoha ninjas stepped up their attack. Kaden, fire style, great fireball jutsu. Futon, wind style, vacuum sphere. Konoha whirlwind. Various ninjutsu, taijutsu and demonic illusion were displayed, and quite a few Sunagakures were indeed entangled for a while. However, some powerful Sunagakure managed to escape successfully. After leaving the encirclement, these people ran out of the canyon without looking back. Although the canyon had been turned into ruins at this time and was buried by countless gravel blocks, these were nothing to the powerful ninjas. Soon, more than 30 Sunagakure had entered under the leadership of Yamada Mongyuki. Among the ruins. The previous battle between Yamada Zongshu and Kenichi was carried out in the ruins, which caused secondary damage to the ruins, but also cleaned up the gravel in many places. After advancing more than 100 meters in the ruins, Yamada Monkey soon met Kenichi again. I won't let you run away this time. Saying that, Shion-Yi went up to intercept Yamada Zonki. Sir. Seeing this, Sunagakure, who was following behind, wanted to come up and help. You go first, don't worry about me. Yamada Monkey hurriedly stopped his subordinates. He knew that even if they shot together, it would not be possible to kill Kenichi in a short period of time. Instead, it would be a waste of time. Once the Konoha ninja behind him chased after him, then they would all have to stay here. Hearing the leader's words, these Sunagakure hesitated for a while, and then they could only bite Kiba and leave. They also knew that not only would they not be able to help by staying, but they would be a drag on Yamada Monkey. With some powerful Sunagakure fleeing, the remaining Sunagakure couldn't hold on any longer, and soon a large number of Sunagakure were beheaded by Konoha ninjas. Taking this opportunity, Dong Shenyao killed several more Sunagakure. At this time, it was the time of the battle, and Dong Shenyao didn't even bother to look at his own magic point, but he knew that his magic point would definitely increase a lot after this battle. Soon the sun rose, the sun fell on the earth, and the battle was drawing to a close. Sunagakure escaped and died, and there were only less than 20 Sunagakure left in the corner to resist. The battle would have been over long ago if it wasn't to avoid a situation where they both perished. At this time, these Sunagakure also knew that they were doomed today, so their only hope now is to pull back before dying. Give me death. A Sunagakure wielded a kunai thorn at the nearby Konoha ninja, but he was only a few steps away when he was hit by several kunai thorns, and finally fell to the ground unwillingly. Boom! The explosion sounded, and the dead Sunagakure's body exploded. It turned out that he had ignited the detonating charm on himself before. He was going to die with the Konoha ninja, but unfortunately he failed in the end. At this time, Tashinyao had stopped and gathered with Kudo-jun and Ishii. It's really thanks to you guys this time. If you didn't bring the reinforcements in time, I'm afraid I would have died. Dong Shenyao said gratefully. Hey, this time we almost broke our leg in order to support Chulingshan as soon as possible. Kudo Jun complained. Of course, he didn't exaggerate. After separating from Dong Shenyao, they rushed back at full speed. In order to bring reinforcements to support Dong Shenyao as soon as possible, they did not waste any time along the way. In the end, it only took most of the day to return to Konoha. It's just that after returning to Konoha, several people were exhausted, especially Yukino, who slumped on the ground and couldn't get up. Kudo-shun and the others resisted their physical exhaustion and rushed to the Hokage building to report the situation to Senju Tobarama. After learning that the hills and mountains were in danger, Senju Tobarama did not talk nonsense, and directly summoned hundreds of ninjas to rush to the hills and hills defense lines as the vanguard. Since Kudo-shun and the others were worried about Tashinyao's situation, they didn't care about their physical exhaustion and directly asked to join the vanguard. Only Yukino could only stay in Konoha village because she couldn't move. The leader of this vanguard unit is Nara Jue. He is the deputy chief of the Nara family. He is very powerful in both strength and resourcefulness. Chapter 118 Mission accomplished below. This time, in order to protect the hills and mountains, the Konoha ninjas who came to support them traveled all night, so they were able to reach the hills city at dawn. When the time came to 7 o'clock in the morning, the battle was over, and there was no more Sunagaku alive. Soon Nara Jue and Sheni came together to find Dong Shenyao. Yao, I've already heard about Sheni about this time. You are the greatest hero in defending the hills and mountains. When I go back, I will report to Lord Hokage. Nara Jue looked at Dongshin with a look of admiration. Yao, he didn't think that Dong Shenyao was not only talented in cultivation, but also very smart. Nara family who is good at using their brains. Nara Jue likes smart people the most, because in his opinion, wisdom is the most important thing, and relying solely on force is not desirable. There is no doubt that Dong Shenyao is such a person. Not only is his own strength extraordinary, but he is also very smart and has a plan. From the fact that Dong Shenyao was able to find out that Fuyuki had a problem, and in the end, he calculated Sunagaku's strategy. It can be seen that his strategy surpassed that of ordinary people. Even Nara Jue asked himself, even if it was replaced by him, he could not do better than Dong Shenyao. All right. If Dong Shenyao knew what Nara Jue was thinking, he would probably laugh complacently. As a Chinese person, he likes to watch the Three Kingdoms and has seen 36 stratagems. Even if he has never experienced such a thing as a war before, at least from the book, in terms of ability, it is not comparable to the natives of the Hokage world. Master Jue has won the prize. I just did what I should do. The real credit is Master Shion and everyone in the Konoha ninja village. If they hadn't resisted desperately, I'm afraid Hill City would have been breached by Sunagaku long ago. Dong Shenyao said in a sincere tone. Yo, don't be humble, this time is really a loss to you. If it hadn't solved a lot of Sunagaku in advance, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to hold on to the arrival of Jue and the others. It's just a pity that the guy Yamada Monaki ran away. Sheni said with some disappointment. Okay, don't be greedy enough. Yamada Monkey is a cage-level master. How can he be so easy to kill? And this time we directly buried thousands of Sunagaku, including many Jonin and elite Jonin. This is enough. Such a big loss is a big blow to Sunagaku, and it is impossible for them to attack the hills and mountains in a short period of time. Naraji gave Shion a white look and said. It turned out to be a cage-level expert. Dong Shenyao was taken aback. He did not expect that the leader Sunagaku came this time was actually a cage-level expert. Sheni was able to entangle with Yamada Zongshu for so long and was undefeated. It seems that he is also a strong cage level. Thinking of this, Dong Shenyao also understood why he felt so big when he met Kenichi before. Pressure. Yao, are you interested in coming to work with me in Chulingshan? If you come, then the position of deputy commander of the Chulingshan defense line will be yours. Sheni admired Dong Shenyao very much, so he even attracted him directly. I said Sheni, don't tempt Dong Shenyao. He is a Qianlong, how can you be trapped by a small hill like you? Nara said with a slight blow. Ha ha ha, I'm just talking about it. Sheni smiled a little embarrassedly. He also knew that putting Dong Shenyao in the hills and mountains was overkill. Thank you for your love, but I'm still too young to be a deputy commander. Dong Shenyao politely refused. Although he already knew this would be the result, Xianyi was still a little disappointed. Forget it, since you don't want it, I won't force you. By the way, Jiwei, the hills and valleys have been destroyed this time. If we can't rebuild the hills as soon as possible, the city will be in danger. Please inform Lord Hokage quickly and let him send some more people to assist me in rebuilding the hills and mountains defense line. Xianyi changed the subject. Sheni, don't worry, Lord Hokage has already expected it. This time Lord Hokage has sent a lot of people to help you. I just marched first, and there are 2,000 Konoha ninjas in the back. Almost this afternoon, we will be able to arrive, then we will stay in the hill city until the defense line here is rebuilt. Quote. This way I can feel at ease. After hearing Nara Jiwei's words, Sheni breathed a long sigh of relief. Yao, you are tired too. Now that the battle is over, you should go back to the city to rest first. Knowing Mr. Xian, let's go first. Dong Shenyao was not hypocritical, he was indeed exhausted during this time. Saying goodbye to Kenichi and Nara Jiwei, Ta Shenyao and Kudo Shun walked towards the hilly city. At the same time, the sound of the system suddenly remembered. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the mandatory A-level task, defending the hills and mountains, and obtaining 4,000 God-making points. Great, it's finally done. Dong Shenyao cheered in his heart, especially the 4,000 God-making points, which made Dong Shenyao happy. Although he had definitely obtained more than 4,000 God-constructing points in the previous battle, Dong Shenyao was very excited now that there were so many divine constructing points all of a sudden. After suppressing the excitement in his heart, Dong Shenyao couldn't wait to check the magic point he had now. When Dong Shenyao saw clearly the number of God-constructing points he had, he opened his mouth wide with a look of shock on his face. What's wrong with you, Yao? Nishimura couldn't help asking after finding out about Ta Shenyao's abnormality. At the same time, Kudo-jun and Ishii also looked at Ta Shenyao worriedly. I'm fine, I'm just a little tired. At this time, Dong Shenyao also came back to his senses, and after realizing that he had lost his temper, he quickly found an excuse to put it off. Nishimura and the others believed Dong Shenyao's explanation, so they didn't go into detail and continued to walk towards the hilly city. At this time, Dong Shenyao's expression 5.5 recovered calm, but a huge wave was set off in his heart. 20,000 is actually more than 20,000 God-making points. I didn't expect that I would get so many God-making points this time. Dong Shenyao was excited. With such a huge amount of wealth all of a sudden, Dong Shenyao didn't know how to spend it. After all, 20,000 God creation points seem like a lot, but if you really exchange them, you won't be able to exchange anything good. After all, a Mangekyo Sharingan requires tens of thousands of God-making points, not to mention the more advanced Eternal Mangekyo, and even high-level exchange items such as Rinnegan. After thinking for a while, Dong Shenyao found sadly that even if he had more than 22,000 God creation points all at once, he was still a poor man. Chapter 119 Organize the Harvest. After climbing directly along the city wall to the hilly city, Dong Shenyao brought Kudo-shun and several others to Kenichi's mansion. Yesterday, the room that Shin Jongyang arranged for Dong Shenyao could only accommodate 2 people, so Dong Shenyao troubled the people in the house to prepare an extra room for them. After preparing the room, Dong Shenyao briefly bandaged the wound, and the 4 of them began to rest. Ta Shenyao and Kudo-shun have a room, and Ishii and Nishimura have a room. Kudo-shun and the 3 had not rested for a whole day and night, so they fell directly on the bed and fell asleep. Although Dong Shenyao didn't rest well yesterday, he at least slept for a while, plus the surge of magic points. It made Dong Shenyao a little excited, but at this time there was no sleepiness at all. After lying on the bed, Dong Shenyao directly entered the God creation space. First, he checked the quest system. Dong Shenyao found that the A-level quest that appeared before had been displayed as completed, but no new quests were refreshed. Seeing this, he closed the quest system and opened the war function panel. On this quick panel, there is a detailed record of Dong Shenyao's killing of ninjas, because every time he kills a ninja, he has completed a task, and 15 will be rewarded with corresponding god building points. Dong Shenyao looked around and found that he had killed 2 Jonins. And the reward for each Jonin is 3,000 god creation points, which means that the rewards for 2 Jonin, plus the reward for completing the task of guarding the hills and mountains, add up to a full 10,000 deity creation points. The rest are rewards for killing special Jonin, elite Chunin, and Chunin. Although he killed a lot of ninjas of all levels, because there are not many god building points for a single reward, it is less than 1. God of creation. Sure enough, the quickest way to get the god creation points is to kill people, and the stronger the killing power, the more god creation points. Of course, Dong Shenyao also knew that the reason why he was able to kill so many ninjas this time, and even killed 2 Jonin, was also because of the special environment, and such a good opportunity like this time was rare. First of all, the group of Dong Shenyao that was ambushed above the canyon killed a lot of people, and then they robbed a lot of heads in the muddy waters of Dong Shenyao. As for the 2 Jonins, Fuyuki was killed by Dong Shenyao by his own strength. As for the other, Dong Shenyao took advantage of it. After the arrival of reinforcements, Dong Shenyao met a seriously injured Jonin-level Sunagaker. This is lucky to get ahead. There are more than 22,000 god creation points. What should I exchange? At this time, Dong Shenyao was a little worried, because there were too many things in the exchange system, and he didn't know what to exchange for a while. Forget it, let's find it a little bit. Because the time in the god creating space is still, Dong Shenyao has time, so he directly and slowly starts to check the things in the exchange system. I don't know how long ago, Dong Shenyao roughly selected some things, but he was not in a hurry to exchange them. After all, some exchanges will bring some changes to Dong Shenyao. There is still Kudo-shun in the room. Although he was already asleep, Dong Shenyao gave up first and was ready to talk when he returned to the village. Sleep. After confirming what needs to be exchanged, Dong Shenyao left the god-making space and started to sleep. It's just that his sleeping posture is different from that of ordinary people. Instead of lying on the bed, he is in the posture of Yi Jinjing. The most unique aspect of Yi Jinjing is that you can practice even while you are sleeping, as long as you put on the above posture. Of course, it is useless even for others to imitate Dong Shenyao's posture, because each posture has its own breathing method, and both must be used at the same time to be effective. Luck is the way to go. Dong Shenyao didn't feel anything before, but at this time, after the excitement in his heart disappeared, a sense of drowsiness soon struck, and it didn't take long for Dong Shenyao to fall asleep. I don't know how long ago, when Dong Shenyao woke up from his deep sleep, he found that the sky was full of stars, and it was night. Ah, it's a really comfortable sleep. Dong Shenyao stretched for a long time, and he didn't know if he slept well enough this night, or whether Yi Jinjing played a role. In short, when Dong Shenyao woke up, found that the tiredness of the body was swept away, and the body was full of strength, except that the stomach felt a little hungry, the rest had returned to their peak state. Even due to the previous war, Dong Shenyao has made breakthroughs in all aspects. At this time, Dong Shenyao was confident that if he fought Fuyuki again, he would definitely be able to kill Fuyuki in a shorter time. When Dong Shenyao was completely awake, he found that Kudo-shun was still sleeping. Seeing this, he didn't bother and left the room quietly. After walking out of the room, Dong Shenyao found that there were significantly more people in the mansion. After inquiring about Dong Shenyao, I found out that it was because Sheni and the others had already returned. I am so hungry, let's see where there is food. Muttering to himself, Dong Shenyao walked towards the kitchen he had inquired about earlier. Just before Dong Shenyao came to the kitchen, he was stopped by a ninja. East Shenyao, Lord Xian is looking for you. Oh, I see, take me there. Although he was very hungry, since it was Sheni looking for him, Dong Shenyao could only temporarily give up the idea of filling his stomach. Soon Dong Shenyao met 160 Kenichi, and there were 2 other people in the room besides Sheni. One of them was Nara Jue. The other Dong Shenyao did not know, but this person was obviously not a ninja. He was wearing armor all over his body, and there was no ninja forehead on his body. East Shenyao, you're here, let me introduce to you. This is the commander of the Hills and Mountains Defense Line, General Sakagami Tamura. Xian Yi took the initiative to introduce the man in armor. Hello, General Sakagami. Hello Dong Shenyao, I have already heard about this incident. Thank you very much. If you didn't report the news in time, I'm afraid that the hills and mountains will be lost, and my name of the country of fire will be in danger. Sakagami Tamura said gratefully. It's nothing, it's what I should do. Dong Shenyao said a little embarrassedly. Obviously just to complete the task, and now he is regarded as a hero by others. Dong Shenyao is also a little ashamed. After all, if it was his original intention, he would never come to the hills and mountains to report the news. However, at this time Dong Shenyao's performance was modest in the eyes of Sheni and the others, which made them have a better view of Dong Shenyao. Just when Sakagami Tamura was about to say something else, he heard a guru sound. The eyes of Sheni and the others all fell on Dong Shenyao, and Dong Shenyao felt his cheeks get hot. Chapter 120 Warrior. At this time, Dong Shenyao's cheeks became yuhi, which was too embarrassing. He didn't expect his stomach to growl at such a time. After the 3 of them laughed, Xian Yi said apologetically, Dong Shenyao was my negligence. I forgot that you haven't eaten for a day. My lord, I'm fine. Dong Shenyao said a little embarrassedly, of course he was lying. Come on. Xian Yi shouted directly. Soon a servant came in. You go to the kitchen to prepare a table of good dishes, and they will be delivered directly in a while. Xian Yi ordered. Master Xian doesn't need to be so troublesome. Dong Shenyao wanted to stop it. Don't be polite, Dong Shenyao, and it just so happens that we haven't had dinner yet, so the 4 of us will eat and chat. After speaking, Sheni waved his servant to go down to prepare. Dong Shenyao, you heard it before, I will stay in Hill City to help Kenichi build the defense line, but you and Kudo-shun can go back to the village first, just to report the situation here to Lord Hokage. Naraji said with a smile. Well, then I'll take them back to the village tomorrow. Dong Shenyao didn't delay, he really wanted to go back earlier. Then there was nothing about Dong Shenyao. While Sheni and the others were discussing the construction of the defense line, Dong Shenyao sat and listened silently. Konoha ninja guarding the hills and mountains suffered a lot, but also more than 100 people survived. At the same time, even the army sent by the daimyo from the land of fire suffered heavy casualties. In order to hold back the more than 100 Sunagaku, 10,000 soldiers were killed and wounded more than 6,000. But they were not without gains. Not only did they hold back more than 100 Sunagaku, but they also killed some ninjas. At this time, the 3 were also discussing asking the daimyo to send additional troops to the hills and mountains fortresses again. Dong Shenyao is not interested in reinforcements. What really makes Dong Shenyao care about is the lethality of the army. Although the loss of the army was huge, it also let Dong Shenyao know that ninjas are not invincible, unless they reach the level of Senju Hashirama or Uchiha Madara, otherwise even cage-level powerhouses can rely on absolute numbers. Kill. Of course, this is under the circumstance that the cage-level masters do not escape. If they are determined to run, the army alone cannot stop the cage-level masters. It seems that even the ordinary army can't take it lightly. Dong Shenyao thought to himself. General Sakagami, I heard that you killed 3 Jonins from Sunagaku village by yourself this time. I didn't expect the general's strength to be so powerful. Nara Jue exclaimed. It's not worth mentioning. Compared with Nara-kun, my strength is not worth mentioning. Sakagami Tamura said humbly, but there was an uncontrollable arrogance in his eyes. Although now is the age of ninjas, the samurai has declined, but the powerful samurai still have the strength to kill ninjas. Jue, you don't know, General Sakagami is a samurai who can be ranked in the top 10 in the country of fire, and his overall strength is comparable to the elite Jonin. Xian Yi praised. Well, I didn't expect General Sakagami to be so powerful. It seems that there is no reason to get the attention of the daimyo. Nara Jawei said with emotion. I didn't expect there to be powerful samurai in the country of fire. Dong Shenyao was a little surprised at this time. He originally thought that the samurai had decayed, and there were no powerful samurai outside the country of iron. I have also learned a little about the samurai Tashinyao. It is said that before the emergence of ninjas, it was the era of samurai, and powerful samurai could even cut off mountains, but after all, it has been thousands of years since that era, so many people put this as a legend. However, because Dong Shenyao likes to read books, he learned from books that the strength of a truly powerful samurai is not inferior to that of a cage-level powerhouse. Just like the current warrior leader of the Kingdom of Iron, he is a village comparable in strength to the shadows of other villages. In addition, there are many powerful warriors in the Kingdom of Iron, so it can be independent and not be affected by the ninja war. However, Dong Shenyao also understood that the current warriors are very different from the warriors of 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago, the warriors only cultivated the power of the flesh and body, and at the same time, they finally comprehended the sword chi through cultivation. But it's different now. Now samurai also practice chakra, but they don't use ninjutsu, but apply chakra to kendo. And the reason why Dong Shenyao wants to understand this is because he is also ready to practice kendo. After all, kendo can also be regarded as a kind of physical art. If he can learn kendo well, it will be of great help to his strength growth. Half an hour later, the servant brought the cooked meal. The four of Dong Shenyao sat around the table and began to eat. Sheni and the three all drank, but Dong Shenyao could only drink juice because he was not old enough. During the meal, Sheni and the others were not idle either. They kept chatting, and from time to time they would ask Dong Shenyao something. However, most of the time Dong Shenyao listened on the side. From the conversation of several people, Dong Shenyao learned that the follow-up reinforcements from Konoha village had arrived. There were a total of 2,000 ninjas. This time, the hills and mountains were considered safe. Soon after Dong Shenyao was full, seeing that Sheni and the others had no plans to stop, Dong Shenyao could only leave in advance. After all, he and Sheni are not familiar with them, and in terms of status, Dong Shenyao can't compare with the three, so it seems a bit redundant here. After the three of them politely kept him for a while, they saw that Dong Shenyao insisted, so they did not persuade him anymore. After leaving from Sheni, Dong Shenyao did not rush to go back, but went to the kitchen to get some food before going back. Although Tashinyao was full, he did not forget that Kudo-shun and the others were still hungry. When Tashinyao came back with the food, he found that the three of Kudo-shun had already woken up, and they were all staying in the room where he rested before. "Where have you been, Yao?" Kudo-shun asked. "I went to get some food, and I'll bring you some back by the way," said. Dong Shenyao distributed the food among the three. "Yo, you are so kind," Kudo-shun said gratefully while eating the rice ball. Maybe they haven't eaten for a long time. After just waking up, they felt very hungry and were about to find something to eat. Unexpectedly, Dong Shenyao came back and brought back the food very thoughtfully. "You guys eat slowly, there's a lot more." Seeing the three of them gobbling their food, Dong Shenyao worried for them, for fear of choking accidentally. It was already late at night when Kudo-jun and the others finished their meal, but they had just woken up, and there was no trace of sleepiness. Seeing this, Dong Shenyao told the news that he would be leaving tomorrow.